And we are live.
Hey.
Hi, Ty. Yes. I can't hear anybody.
Grab your popcorn and drinks.
That was awesome. I fell off my chair.
I can't hear anybody.
There's Meegs.
I look good in a bunny costume, man. I gotta get one.
Yeah, I need one.
Yeah, take that.
Take that, Mandela.
Nice car.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah. Chill with Lon.
Yeah.
I don't even know. This is again.
All right. What do you guys think of that? Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. That was awesome.
Man,
All right.
you know what?
So,
If there was any question how white we were, now people will have no doubt how white we are.
okay, let me give you the.
This will be on the channel, and the people will be like, "Look at these white people. These are white people. 600,000 views. Look at these white people.
They have funny ears.
Look at these white
They have
people
funny
with
ears.
I figured.
This is messed up. Look at these white people." And then all the comments are going to be white people. SMH. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Good one, Ty. Well, I have a prize for someone who can name that tune and tell me what year it came out. You have to tell me both. Caller number 6. And I will be giving the phone number right now.
All right, I'm so
850-764-1552.
I'm dialing.
850-764-1552.
I gotta go, man. I gotta go win this prize.
You win Adventures
I know.
in Babysitting.
Aha.
Let's see who calls in.
All right. So what is the what is the question here?
Okay, you have to name that
What
tune
year?
and the year it came out.
All right.
Waiting for caller
White
number
people.
6.
White people.
I can't even hear the tune.
Something.
What tune is it?
The tune that was played in the intro.
It was
Oh,
jump.
Oh, Joe, crisscross, make you jump,
we got
jump.
Lone
Yeah.
Eagle. Hey, Lone Eagle, what's up, dude?
Lone
What's
Eagle.
up, Lone Eagle?
Lone Eagle.
There he
Is
is.
Lone Eagle actually on the line right now?
He is. He's here.
Wow.
No, he's
He's
here.
here.
in the chat.
Wow.
Can you hear
In
me?
the chat. We can hear you.
We
We
can
hear
hear you.
All right, beautiful.
Introduce me, people.
Mr.
Okay.
Lone Eagle, how you doing, Bob? This is Troy, man. How you doing, Bob?
Hey.
I'm doing awesome. Nice to talk to you. Good evening.
It is an
Yeah.
honor. It is an
Lone
honor,
Eagle,
sir.
just to let you know who's here. That's Harold is here.
Yes.
And of course, it's Brian's channel, and you have Seeger and Teresa, and of course Troy, and
I am
myself,
here.
Tyler.
Present.
Awesome.
And accounted for.
And accounted for, man. Hey, by the way, Lone, did you ever turn that sound volume down 4 watts?
I just finished listening to that right now, like minutes ago. I was like, I'm getting amped for this, so I'm ready to do that.
You're gonna blow him out.
Hey, man, I don't mind being on, man. I love being pranked. I'm the best person to have jokes played on, and I'm a good sport at that. So good job on you.
Right on, man. Yeah, cool. Well, I'm glad you're a good sport about that, man, because we're gonna have a lot of fun here.
I'm
Lone
glad
Eagle,
yeah.
you know what I was just thinking? Lone Eagle would be perfect countermeasure to Troy Gowdy, right? When Troy Gowdy would be like, no,
Oh,
Mrs.
man.
Clinton, no, Mrs. Clinton, you are wrong, Mrs. Clinton, no, and Lone Eagle would be like, look, This is what we have. What we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. Let me bring up Google Maps. Let me just spin this around here. Look.
Look
Henry,
this.
you're lying.
Why you're wrong.
You're lying. I know you're lying. Yeah, that would be. Yeah,
I could prove
that's
it.
great.
I wouldn't need to
prove
do
it.
some. I wouldn't need to do something like that because they do a brilliant job exposing themselves. So.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yes,
Absolutely right.
Yeah. Not
Hey,
that
Lon,
I
by the
would
way,
want to say that.
You've had a great series, man. You've had a great going so far with your series, man. I've been watching it. I want to say religiously. I don't mean to clone, a coin of certain, praise has already been done so. But man, you are awesome, and the things that you've done so far are, right up my alley. I dig that. I love the way it actually leads into something that I'm big into, which is like the history, which I know you play a big part into too. So, I'm a huge fan, and I definitely appreciate everything that you've been doing. I know that you have this series going on with more on the way. I'm glad that you decided to do that, man.
Thank you
Yeah, that
very
is
much.
to say, Lone Eagle, that is to say that you have several fans here. Troy is a very big fan of yours. I like your stuff too. Also, another person coming on, Meegs, watched your channel. I hate to use that word religiously, right? Again, just watch you hour after hour after hour.
Right.
He loves your stuff. So you got a lot of diehard fans here.
Well, very kind, and I'm very flattered. Thank you very much. I work just from the heart. It's all from the heart. I don't make anything up. I might be wrong in some of the things I put out just because I'm curious like everybody else. And it's just like everybody else. We don't know everything in the world. That's why I bounce these videos off people. But when it comes to the earth, I'm pretty much on point because I really know the things that I'm studying. Like I started off with Utah because I know it inside out, but then I just go around the world. There's one point where I could spin the globe and all you can see was the Pacific Ocean. You couldn't see any land, but now you can't do that anymore. And this tells me maybe the world shrunk, but I could go on because it all comes from experience. So that's why I find it easy to flow. Maybe that's why people catch on easier because that's part of it. Just being honest and just going what you're seeing.
You guys should really see, this is for our audience too, Lone Eagle's ability to manipulate 3D Google Maps. He can manipulate a Google map that would take us 20 minutes to get down to a certain point. He's like, "Bloop, here it is."
That's only when he gets the new mouse. The old mouse.
The new mouse.
I couldn't believe, I was looking at it going, oh, how did he do that? Did you see that?
The old mouse would just not work.
Yeah, it's all in the mouse. It's the mouse. Like I have a Razer mouse, Razer keyboard. I used to use them for gaming, but the click down on the mouse wheel, when you click down on it, that does a huge feature, and a lot of people have to use a keyboard for that. But yeah, manipulating the controls is very important. And like I said, I've been on Google Earth since almost day one, man. I've been doing this stuff for a long time.
Yeah, real good, and very easy to understand too. Very easy to understand.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
It's not 30 minutes. A lot of people that do what he does. So let me show you that. Oh wait. Where are we again? Milky Way. Okay, hold on. Wait. Okay. Is there? Oh wait. Where am I? South Korea? No. I want to be in Mississippi. Oh wait. No, you're right there, and it really makes the flow a lot easier to understand.
You know what?
You're right on point. We enjoy that.
That's great feedback. Thank you.
And you know what, Lon, I was gonna say, man. I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. You're big. You're quite fond of the Arizona area as well. I actually grew up there. I think I mentioned that to you before. But one thing that really gets me is that you know a lot about a lot of the territory. It seems like you've traveled quite a bit. What allowed you to do that, man?
I've only traveled to Arizona once, and it was there for 10 days. But there's something about my life that I want to share with everybody. Is that I live every day and every moment to its full extent. And when I go traveling, like even when I planned the trip, I was already there in my mind, and I was already there every single second. I took the train from Ottawa to Colorado, then got on the RV, then drove through the mountains to Arizona, stayed there 10 days. But every single second, I was breathing it in. I was watching and absorbing. When you do this, and when you're on Google Earth, like the way I was and am to this day, you don't forget these experiences. You cannot forget them. They're embedded they're inside of you in your memory, and they're part of you because you are part of that. You are part of that rock, the tree, everything around you. So it's very easy for me to churn on Google Earth every single day. I just finished telling Troy on Google Hangouts that I have so many Mandelas. If I made a video for every Mandela I came out with, it would be insane. I don't have that capacity to do that. I'm just like taking my time with this stuff. The Arizona thing, I'm infatuated with it. It was Tombstone. I shared my experience with how I almost became an atheist because of that movie, and I've been drawn to Tombstone. That place has been Mandelaed. The monsoons that did not happen there before are now happening, and now you're seeing a lot of green in Arizona, which it used to be a lot of desert. But
Desert, right?
But like you said, it's my experience is just I breathe every moment in, and I just pay attention to every single thing that I'm doing every day. Eating my supper, my supper right now. I'm like separating the rice from my potatoes, but I'm paying attention. I'm like, wow, I wonder how these would cook. They're delicious. You know what I mean? I was talking to the lady there. I was talking to the lady who served me the food, and we had a great convo. And I was wondering how she was doing. As I was eating my meal. You got to just expand on life and appreciate every single moment you're alive, and then you will see more doors open. I guarantee you, you'll see this.
So, in your mind's eye, I know that you're much more than the continental anomalies going on. You've done quite a bit of things with the tech before its time and things like that too.
Yeah.
One of the things
that's how we found out about you in the beginning. By the way, Brian and I came across one of your videos, and the tech before its time brought us to your geographical changes. But I don't want to interrupt, Troy. Go ahead.
Oh no! Well, I got a kick out of it, and that's one thing that's the reason why I became really fond of you, man. Is that you took something so rattling and alarming, and actually kind of in times like this, when you have that churning in your stomach and the beating, in your heart that's just so rapid. And then, you see something so outrageous that you burst into laughter. It makes it just relieves that pressure. And I can tell you, I've enjoyed that. It's in a public scenario where, I've got many people around me. You go laughing and I'm right there with you, man. I'm bursting in laughter along with you because it's so outrageous and I don't recall exactly what you're portraying. One thing that really caught my attention too, and I'm sure you can probably recall this, was when you were showing it was the tech before its time, but it was the old West days where they were showing the picture where they used to draw them, and it was he opens the scroll, the wanted sign, and instead of it being drawn out, it was a picture, and you paused it, man. I almost pissed myself. It was so funny. It was the funniest thing I've seen in a long time, man.
That was good. That was good. Yeah.
That's the whole part. Like, I find these moments funny because, well, at the moment they are funny. Like, there's just too many things that don't match up that make my brain laugh, and it's just like exactly what you said. You just broke down because of its simplicity of it. People who see the simplicity just laugh. You were in joy at that moment. You did not take that and go, "Oh my God, I'm going to turn that into a fear." You yourself started laughing, just the way I started laughing in joy, because that's what we're supposed to do. Not laugh at everything, but enjoy. And it's exactly what you got out of that. And you enjoyed it.
Well, we do. Yeah. We, unlike a lot of the channels, we spend a lot of time laughing about things and poking fun at things. We really do, because we believe that levity and a sense of humor is the best way to deal with this stuff, because we all go through our own things. But you're looking at like Seeker, Teresa, Brian, Harold. They are very well adjusted, very, very well adjusted people, and they help a lot of other people. Harold goes out and talks to anybody that he can, try to explain what he can to alleviate the stress of people that just don't understand. They don't have the clarity. They just don't have it. Teresa is known as the residual queen. She finds residual all the time.
I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she does it, honestly.
She's real good.
I don't either.
Good. And
some people have that gift, like Fiverr.
And,
like Fiverr, exactly. Yep.
We try to get together, and we try to share what we can and help anybody any way that we can.
And for all of you watching this, Teresa, this is Teresa's first time in Hangouts with us.
Yes,
and she looks amazing. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Teresa, you want to say hi?
Teresa, are you there?
She fell off.
Say hi.
Yeah, she's like,
I'm
oh.
here. I just don't know if you can see or hear me. Sorry, guys.
I can see you.
Yeah,
I
we
can
can
see
See
you.
ya. We can hear you.
We got you.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hey.
Bonjour.
Hey, everyone.
And
I'm the residue hunter.
Lone Eagle, we have been trying to get you. We've been thinking of getting you on the show for what, Brian? A month and a half?
Oh gosh, it's been months. Yeah, like at least a month and a half.
Really,
Yeah.
we've been
At least
actively
22
seeking you.
years.
Yeah. We've been trying
Well,
that's how long
I finally
it's been.
got a new phone, so I'm actually not in the ether no more. I'm
Right.
literally live.
Right.
Yep.
Cool.
So,
Yep.
Yay.
everybody in your audience, I know they want to know what I look like.
We can see your eye really well.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, the one
Teresa,
thing,
you look great.
yeah, you look great, Teresa. The one thing I want to ask you, Lone Eagle.
Oh, thank you. I'm 54, guys. Hey, I'm 54.
Yeah, okay.
I think
Cool.
that's the Mandela.
Last time I looked, I was 35. I don't know. Anyway, Lone Eagle, what happened? What happened to that neighborhood that you said didn't exist but exists?
Oh well, it's still there.
It's still there. It hasn't changed or.
So, the interesting thing about that is like I do a food. I work for a food delivery service, and popping in.
Hey guys!
Oh,
is that
Meegs?
Meegs.
Oh my God, I gotta meet her.
I'm at the fabulous box.
Meegs, look at.
Hi, Meegs.
Wait, where are you,
Lone
Meegs?
Eagle is
Sorry to
here.
interrupt you guys.
Wait, where are you, Meegs?
Lone Eagle's
Hey,
here.
Lone. Lone, I think you actually truly have your biggest fan in the entire world right here.
All right, to me.
Also,
Megan is your
sorry,
biggest fan.
I can't really hear you guys, but I'm at the Sound of Music, and I just wanted to love bomb y'all.
Thank you, Meegs.
I have to
Thanks,
get back behind
Meegs.
the curtain, pretty soon.
Is that Meegs?
'cause I'm the star of the
Yes, it is.
Yeah, she's at the Sound of Music.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
I've never seen the Sound of Music. I have no idea what it is.
Either.
It's a musical.
I'm playing Maria
She's
tonight,
not
so I have to go.
Meegs?
I have to
Oh,
go.
okay.
Go.
Oh,
Yo,
Meegs.
Meegs, you see
Meegs.
Teresa? You see Teresa?
Can you see me?
Yeah. Oh, what's up, Teresa?
This is me.
And guess
Deborah.
Meeks, guess who's here?
Guess who's here?
Guess who's here?
Guess
I'm
who's
not
here?
in the ether no more.
You're brave.
Meegs,
Brave.
I'm live. Look.
Lone Eagle's here.
Oh,
Lone
what's
Eagle's
up,
here.
Lone Eagle?
Good day. How are you?
I'm unbelievable today.
Enjoy the sound of music.
I love it, man.
Chicken.
Well said. Well said. Enjoy the Sound of Music.
I'm gonna get off, but I'll try to get back on in a couple hours, maybe.
Okay.
We'll be
All right,
Wow,
hon.
wow. You'll be at the tail end. There might be darkness,
Come
but
on
all right.
back, Meegs.
Come on back, Meegs.
Meegs, come back.
No.
All right. So to continue on with the question here,
No.
Yeah.
Where'd she go?
Harold,
Yeah.
you asked the question to Lone.
She'll be back.
I'd like
She'll
to
be back.
Oh,
I'd like to hear the end of that.
Or is it she'll be back? She'll
So
be
that
back.
neighborhood that I was talking about,
Yeah.
I work for a food delivery service where I drive food to people, and then I drive by there all the time now, and I'll just pop in. It's still the same. It's a very desolate place. I'd say about 2/3 of the units are empty, and
Wow.
I guess and they have here's the thing, there's a school there, it's called Queen Elizabeth School. It just shut down.
Yeah.
Like just shut down. Like
Really?
yeah, it's very weird. Like the windows are all boarded up. Like when I went there with the video, not that day there was no kids, but the next day I went back, or the day before I was there, and there was kids everywhere playing in that school. Now it looks like a ghost town. Now I'm gonna go back and film it. Like the windows are all boarded up. They did show.
Oh my God.
It is noted
That's a
that
good,
they are
that's
closing
a
it
good
down.
catch. That's a very good
Wow.
catch.
Yeah, but
That's crazy.
Wow.
Very good catch.
it's weird. It's very
So
weird.
now-
it's still there. Still there.
So I have one more question to ask you about that. Now you said that you used to go there all the time, and it did not exist.
Yeah.
But
What?
when you checked it, you said that it had been created in the 1960s.
Yeah, between the 40s and 60s, because this is a base. This is a war base. You know, when you
Right.
go around there, there's signs everywhere showing military, and it's very
Right.
obvious. Yeah.
But you said that the bus stops don't even look alike. They don't even look the same.
Yeah, and they have those bus stops I've just never seen in the city before, and I've been in the city since 1982. You know, as a little boy. You know, and I've been. Those were the when I went there, I was like, wow, they have concrete bases. I've never seen that, and they were very small. And I was like, I've never seen that style. So exactly.
Huh.
I hate when that happens.
So
Many things stood out there.
now here's a question: What's going to happen if you go back again and it's not there?
Well, if I go
Are you
back,
going to have a heart attack?
No, I don't think it's gonna happen.
No, I don't do that, man. Nothing. That type of stuff doesn't happen with me because, like, if I every time I go there before I turn, I'm like, it might not be there. And if I turn, I'll be like, well, I've always got my camera with me, and I'm gonna sit there and be like, look, guys, watch this, and then I'm gonna point. I'm gonna be just like, I'm not gonna be like all joyful, but I'm gonna be shocked. But I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to die. The world's coming to an end. I'm just going to be like, well, it wasn't here before. Now it was here. Now it's not here again. And it would happen right before my eyes, and nothing happened to me.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
And you recorded it. That's the point.
Well, here's the huge thing.
I want to ask you about your tech before it's time, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I wanted to know about your tech before its time. How did you happen upon such vintage clips and somehow fashion together how did you go right away for the tech before its time? I mean, you were pointing out everything we were seeing immediately. We're right in sync, Brian and I, and who was it? Tom? Brian?
Yeah, I think it.
Yeah, you were showing me, Ty.
And Tom saw it too.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, we were going.
What did we discover? What did we discover? That the facsimile?
We discovered the gentleman who created the fax machine. He created the fax machine before Tesla, before Edison.
Yes.
And that was back in 1843, isn't that right?
Before electricity.
Yeah.
Before electricity. How did he do it before electricity? What was he transcribing on? What were they, mice running in a circle? What was going on? There was generate what? Because there was no electricity.
Very easy, Ty. It was steam powered. It was steam powered.
Like the tanks.
But you understand? How did that guy conceive of a fax machine before Tesla, before Edison?
Never heard about the steam powered fax machine? Come on, man.
Right.
They also had
of course, steam power. What was I thinking?
Video.
Of course. Right. Welcome to
video
the liberal
phones.
media. Of course, it was steam power.
Yeah.
It was steam power. And you know who it was? You know who did it? What's wrong with you, Ty?
What?
You know it was Steve Jobs. It was Apple. Apple did it in 1843.
Yeah.
It was Apple.
I thought you were going to say Grover. I thought you were going to say Grover from Sesame Street.
No.
Oh my goodness! Wait! Time out. Troy, you just said Sesame Street, and I have something written here that says sesamoid bones that I was going to be talking about. I'm dead certain. Look, I have it circled. Look,
Great.
Sesamoid bones. You see that?
It's great. Right.
We now have sesamoid bones inside your muscles and ligaments.
And you notice,
Congratulations.
You did notice that he just flashed us all the passwords, all the encryption keys.
I saw that. I got it all now. Now I'm putting it in as we speak.
We didn't see it.
Typing it in.
Right.
Yeah.
Typing it in now, sure.
Yeah.
Where did my Bitcoin go? It's gone. What happened? I don't understand.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I actually ran out of space here.
I could hear him saying "Open Sesame."
Open Sesame. Is that the key word here to breaking the code?
So
Yeah, that's the key.
Lone Eagle.
Right there.
Lone Eagle, I have a question for you.
There's a.
Ed, have you noticed any of the anatomy changes? And which ones stand out for you?
Well, I put a series together like probably 6 months ago, and I haven't looked at the body since. But there's still lots changing. I do, you know, Nobleness is coming out with a video soon on some changes that he was sharing with me, and you know, and I'm not going to say what they are, but they're pretty cool. Now, here's the thing with the body changes is that every single one I've seen, I've been to a benefit, and the ones that I haven't seen a really good explanation for are just still up in the air. We don't totally understand them yet. Like the holes, like what's all the extra holes with the nerves coming out? What is the benefit of that? Still, we're just still not done manifesting what we're supposed to be into. But it's just like everything else in this world. We've seen the whole East Coast of America shift right underneath our nose, and we didn't even know it.
Yeah, Delaware is now an island.
Yeah, I know, but here's the thing. The thing is that we're all still here. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we didn't even notice it. We didn't even know that happened. We had to have somebody show it to us. Same thing happening with
the same thing happens with the people that are actually in Australia. They don't know that Australia changed. They just know the differences.
This goes for every single person on the world and every single city, country, village, town. It doesn't matter the continent. This happens to everybody. They just don't know it yet. You know, these same people are like, oh, this isn't a Mandela. There's no such thing. They're still saying you could dance if you want to. You know what I mean? They're still saying these old lines that are Mandela, but they don't even know it. So eventually everybody's going to wake up, but they're not going to know it. So there's no harm in all this stuff. There's no sense of being shocked or, oh my God.
I think what you just, what you just hit on there is what's known as the Mr. Smith paradox. Like you said, you can dance if you want to from the safety dance. Is that what you're referring to?
You could dance if you want to, because now it's like you can dance if you want to, right? So like they're still saying the old song, but they're saying there's no such thing, but they're still saying old stuff.
Exactly. That's the problem. That's the problem. That when you confront them, they become what we call victims of the Mr. Smith paradox.
It's a problem for us because we want them to accept it. Here's how we deal with that. We stop confronting people about Mandela. We stop saying, hey, look at this changed. We stop saying that to people who are asleep. Let them wake up, because they're going to wake up regardless. What's going to end up happening if you keep on trying to talk to people who are asleep is you're going to look a little, you know, you're going to be added to this category that we don't want to be added to. They will wake up.
Yeah, right.
I've already had people that I've tried to convince in my life. 2 people now, very close to me. I've tried to convince them.
Armor?
You know, I've tried to convince them this is what's happening, and
Scott's Armor's here.
Okay.
Hey, sorry, Lone. Go ahead. I'm following you. Go ahead.
No. So I've had 2 people now very close to me. I'm like, listen, this is happening, blah, blah, blah. They'd be like, no, whatever, you know, you're crazy. You're just like, you know, the last 8 years of your conspiracy stuff. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. And eventually they came up to me. They're like, hey, you know, Jameson used to have an eye in it. And they said this to me. I'm like, yeah, I knew that when I was trying to tell you that stuff, but I left you alone. They came to me after and they said, hey, I think, because Jameson is an alcoholic. I don't know if you guys know about this, but he used to have an eye in it, and they used to be bartenders. They used to be bartenders, and they came to me and they said this, and I'm like, you see what I was trying to show you? But I stopped because all I was doing was pushing. I was creating fear for them, and I didn't mean to. You know what I mean?
So you don't think it? So Lone, you don't think it's our duty to try to wake people up, just to kind of let them wake up themselves?
It's our duty to present these things to everybody, because they will eventually go, wow, that used to be Febreze, like what happened to me. No one showed me Mandela. I was sitting there, I clicked on it, and I was like, man, South America used to be over there. And I went online, and boom, all of a sudden, I was like, what? I went to Mandela. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And look what I was able to create
How
from
did Australia suddenly get up around the equator?
Right underneath your nose, right underneath your nose, like that. So
no longer the land down under.
Yeah. And my friend Candace lives in New Zealand, and I asked her, did you notice that New Zealand moved? No, we didn't notice anything. Okay. It used to be right next to Australia.
If that were to physically move, the whole world would know.
You're saying in your last video alone about Florida, how like I'm from Canada, also on the East Coast in New Brunswick, and we used to say like we're going down south for vacation. And now, like you said, you have to say I'm going down southwest, to get there.
It's so funny. It's so funny. And it was like that for a very long time. I just didn't see it. Nobleness was trying to point it out last year, and I thought, and I saw it in reverse, and that's why more people need to talk with each other. Because had I talked to him last year, I might have come up with more ideas between then and now of what was happening. And it's a loss, but it's a good game though. But yeah, you're very right there.
Now I'm gonna jump in here really quick because I'm sure that people want to ask you a million questions, Lone. They love what you're saying. And I'm not sure if I'm going to ruin something, so you can stop me at the at the pass here. But you were talking briefly about the overlays, the island overlays, how there's some kind of consistency to that. Is there something that you can share with that about that, or is that
that's your question, Troy?
Yeah, it's that one. I want to call it fingerprints of the gods, but Graham Hancock has that already coined, but it's almost like we're seeing a repeated pattern happen in the world with certain not just these islands, but it's really hard to show because I'm still new to this subject. I just came across this not too long ago. But with these 7 islands I was showing you guys that they're rounded in the Caribbean islands that match up with the ones in the Atlantic. Those are just 2 examples. We could take this huge river that's in Brazil. I'm going to put a series on. I know I saw you in the comment section asking, Troy, and I apologize I didn't give a shout out at the end because I would have saw those comments. I would have covered it, but I was like, I can't do that now. It's too big.
Nah, that's right.
Coming out, but you'll see all over the world these reoccurring patterns, and you can take these patterns and then invert them and revert them, like turn them upside down, flip them out, and they still fit in other parts of the world perfectly. And this comes up to this thing called the electric universe. I'm still new to it, but it's all about magnetism and electricity and water. And I do believe in the creator, the almighty creator. I love being here and all this. It's just we're seeing we know that we watch a tool of how he did it. Like I believe it happened. I'm like, okay, well, cool. Let's show us how it happened. And it's almost like that's what we're being shown right now. I got more coming on that, but you guys can look it up yourself. This isn't something new. You can look it up on YouTube. Sure. You
mind if I add a part 2? And the star formations that we've been seeing quite a bit with some of the things that you're discovering as well. We're seeing quite a bit of that. I mean, is there any more insightful information on the star patterns?
And star patterns where, on the ground or in the sky?
No. On the ground, like the islands that are systematically patterned out to be like a star formation.
Exactly. There's a lot of this, and a lot of it is. It's not just the islands. It's a lot of these ancient civilization sites. They all always seem to rise at a certain season to Orion's belt or to the Draco belt or to a Draco sign. I'm not familiar with this language yet, but you're correct. The more we shift, the word we use is shift, the more of these ancient cities pop up and the more they reveal themselves. These ancient cities are getting bigger with each shift. And then each shift, it shows like, oh, damn, like you're actually aligning yourself up to Orion. And not only was this one doing it, and so were other ones all around the world. And you're like, how are they doing this? This is amazing. So this is why I said, everybody, look to your past, man. Look to your ancestry. We got to look into this ancient humans civilization stuff. There's a huge key there.
Well, I think the other thing you got to look into is what is being hidden from us. Because, you see, technology that we have today has been around. It's not like it just occurred like recently. The ancient Vedics in the Bhagavad Gita, they were talking about sky ships and sky wars, and they had weapons called the Brahma, which was basically an atomic weapon that they used, and it was basically. They called their ships Vermata, and these Vermata, they took around and they actually had a war in which they bombed certain areas with these bombs. And nowadays, if you go back to those areas where supposedly they were bombed, you find that there's high levels of radiation in those areas, just like you would expect if you had exploded a nuclear weapon there. I think they've been hiding technology from us for a very long time, and we're just now finding out about it. It's just now becoming real.
What's your take on that?
That.
Oh, well, I totally agree. I believe there's a huge history to humans that is just told. There's a hole in our history, and we need to learn that, because when we learn that, it's very important for humans to do this. I totally agree. I'm unfamiliar with the names he had just used to describe the airships and the type of people, but I believe there are things like that. I'm just new to this stuff. I'm 2 years new into examining my own culture, who I am as a person. Now I got to dig deeper to understand what's going on. What you just said, I'm like entertained by it. I'm like, speak some more on it. I'm open ears, because
Harold is very, very good. He's our government conspiracy enthusiast, but he's just very, very knowledgeable about it and shares whatever information. But at the same time, he doesn't force you to believe what he believes in it. He just tells you what it is. This is what's out there, which is nice. So it gives him a chance to talk to a lot of people. But I wanted to ask you, Lone Eagle, while I had you right there, would you be willing to take questions that come up in the chat?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
What did you say?
Would you be willing to take questions that come up in the chat if they want to ask you something? Would you be willing to answer some questions?
Oh, for sure.
That come up in the chat.
If you've got one, ask me for sure.
Okay, thank you so much. I didn't want to put you on the spot. That's the thing.
Okay.
I wanted to ask.
I got a question.
What's the question?
Go ahead, sir.
Sure.
Go ahead.
What's the question, Teresa?
Do we have a question for Lone?
Said she had a question.
Teresa,
Everyone just
there?
went. Yeah.
Yes,
Everyone just went into
sorry.
shock.
It might be a delay.
Sure, we heard you.
There's about a 20-second delay. About a 20-second delay.
Like, wow. What kind of forks do you eat with?
Yeah,
Lone
we can hear you.
Yes,
I can hear you.
Troy.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This is all new to me. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Have you ever seen something change in real time? Like Brian knows the problems I've been having with residue and things merging right in front of me, like in real time. Have you experienced that yet, Lone Eagle?
No, not that I'm aware of. Just overnight things. I wake up and things are different. If that, like I said, not that I'm aware of.
I've been awake for a year now. Mine's been a year in December that just went by. I've literally found residue change in front of me on the computer in real time.
Very interesting. What did you find change?
Yes. For example, I found like residue, like Chick-fil-A. I'd look at it and it said CHICFILA. And all of a sudden, I blinked for a second, and it changed, and literally the K popped up. Like, literally, it's trying to, like, catch up on itself. Like, I found mellow yellow, and I remember YELLOW, and it disappeared. The W just vanished. I mean, I'm seeing things in real time. I bought items over the counter that were not merged. For example, Brian knows I bought a box of cookies. I brought them home, and they were not merged on the shelf because I look at it. I come home, I put it in my cabinet, take it out to eat them, and I'm looking at the box, and it's like it's morphing, and it's like merging, like in real time. I've had a lot of weird paranormal stuff in the last year.
Yeah, what's weird about that too, Lone Eagle, is like when stuff changes like that, there's all this residue that's left behind. Especially right after a change, but then it kind of levels out and you don't find as much residue. Me and Teresa have noticed that.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
Tell me about the Fruit Loops experience about a year ago.
I seen the residue change the next day. It was that bad.
So one
Yes.
day it was like this, and the next day it
Yes.
was like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Fruit Loops. I found.
I mean,
I saw that with Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, I saw that.
There's
I saw
so
the
many
C
stories.
one year,
There's
C
so many
one day,
stories.
K the next day.
Yeah, here's something.
Yes,
I have
yes.
people I talk to as well
Yes.
who have these same experiences, and they come from light. They come from this. This is, you know, I get replenished through, you know, people like this, and they have the same experiences you're seeing. All right, the exact same thing, and they take it and run with it. And they always tell me, "Do you know why I saw that, Lone?" I'm like, "Why?" Because I don't deal with fear ever. I'm like, cool. They're like, try it. I'm like, I do this all the time, you know. I'm like, love, love, love. So, I mean,
So I had a question along those lines there. Here, Lon. What is your native background, by the way?
Cree Native up northwestern Canada.
Awesome. And then, I mean, your cultural background, your Indian heritage, or your Native American heritage is.
Scott?
Cree.
Do you know? Oh, Cree. Okay. I mean, I know that you know, Native Americans. I mean, they've been here forever. So, I mean, I trust in what they say. And you know, in fact, you know, you really got me tied into the, you know, the music. You know, I listen to it every night before I go to sleep. Like the flutes and all that kind of stuff. It really kind of helps me settle down. At least the things that, you know, I've been, you know, because I think about it all the time. You know, obviously being more in touch with that, you know, I would imagine that there's more information that's got to come through you. That's got to give you. That's going to give you some more like resolve in you know in the peace aspect, because I know there's a lot of people out here, including myself, that also deal with those fear factors of like, you know, there's something. It does feel like, you know, once you experience this, it's a very frightening experience, and you've turned this into, you know, something where we don't have to worry about it because you know, there's something greater and much better coming our way, and that makes it much more relieving to hear. You know, I mean, why would you? You know, I mean, I'm just saying from my perspective. I mean, I'm not Native American, obviously, but I mean, you know, what is the reasoning behind that we can feel some peace along with you? You know what I mean?
That's a good question.
I mean,
Corey.
It's scary.
I mean, listen, we're all cut from the same cloth. I mean, that's a very broad question. Listen, that's a very hard one to answer. I've just always grew up loving people, loving life, animals, everything, food I eat, myself. And I know that this could be a scary time for a lot of people. It was for me for a week. I shut down when I first discovered this. I shut down. I didn't eat. I didn't do anything. Like, I did eat a little bit, but I came out of it. I was like, okay, there's a creator. And then I just, boom, I was waiting for people to make videos on Google Earth. It didn't happen. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. But
cool.
It has nothing. Cool. It has nothing to do. Well, it has a little bit, but really nothing to do with being Native American. It just has to deal with who you are inside. If you look at the panel now, we're all from different places, you know, and we're all from different backgrounds, different ages, genders. There's no way of telling. You cannot take a poll and be like, where are you from, and where are you, and we're gonna find out.
Of course not.
We're gonna dot the map and figure this out. You can't do that. That does not work.
No, you can't.
So we have to get that. Measuring things. What I was doing, tracing stuff, doesn't work. Going to the store and looking at things with your finger and measuring it, that doesn't work anymore. So,
it doesn't work anymore? Did they patch it?
Well, it's not that. It's always just going to be that way. It's always going to be like that. It's not going to get any bigger or smaller. And if it does, you're always going to remember it like that eventually. But this whole thing, I forget what your question was. Sorry, it was so broad. But it's really, like, I look at my native symbol, the 4 directions and the medicine wheel, white, black, red, and yellow. We're all cut from the same cloth, because in this heritage, we were all brought together, and then we were split, you know, to go experience life. And we were to come back together at one point and teach each other these things. We were supposed to follow a set of rules, and should not one of us follow it, there will be a hard time on earth. One of us didn't follow it, and this is what happened. But now we just held on enough. There was enough light and enough joy in the world to fix this. And that's what you're seeing. And I get it. I get it. So it doesn't have to, it has nothing to do with being native, but it does a little bit. You know what I mean? It has to deal with being human and just feeling inside and being kind. That's why I always say at the end, I love you guys, love your neighbor. I'm having a hard time loving my neighbor right now because she's really hard to deal with. Maybe it's my own problem. It's my own issue though too.
Yeah.
It's my own issue. It's my own issue too because I fail to communicate properly with her. I fail to communicate on my end, so because I'm dealing with my own fear. You know,
putting yourself in her shoes will probably help.
It does. It will help.
So, Lone, do you think that empathy has a lot to do with how a lot of people like us getting the Mandela effect, like cluing into it? Do you think empathy's got a lot to do with it?
I'm an empath.
Oh, empathy is huge. Empathy is a big one for sure. Like if you can feel for somebody.
Well, aside from empathy, do you believe in the empaths? The empath phenomena between the Mandela effect?
Sure. Yeah, I'm deep into empaths. Like I still don't understand it. I don't want to speak on it because like I'm trying to really respect that whole area. That's a deep one. Empaths, empathy are two different things. You don't confuse those two because they're two entirely different things. One's feeling like the sorrow for someone, like, you know, like, man, I really feel for that person. I'm going to give them some money. The other one is feeling their pain, even if you don't know they're in the room or in the next room beside you. You're like, man, you're sitting and you're like, man, I feel this pain. Where's it coming from? You go aside, there's a little girl there crying for something. And you're like, wow, I felt that in that next room. That's what empath is. So we cannot confuse the two. But yes, I'm a big believer in these things for sure, and I believe empathy is a big variable.
Okay, so that being said, is that the lion's share of the people that you're connecting with right now on the internet, right? So, I mean, do you reach out to people personally on the outside? You know, I mean, people that you're coming across on a daily basis. You know, are you actively trying to find these people? I mean, how do you go about, I mean, is this something that's constantly in your mind, or do you just kind of go about your daily business
I've met so many people since I've opened my channel, and I've come across so many wonderful people with such wonderful information. I keep in touch with, I keep in touch with very few, and it's a shame. I'm trying to reach out more. I wish I had talked to more people. And if you guys are out there, I apologize. I'm trying to talk to you more, but I just let things flow. I don't try and dig in here. I don't try and look for things. I let people come to me and be like, hey, Lone, this is what's happening. Just want to shoot some information your way. This is maybe why you're feeling this. And we're into empathy. I'm like, cool, man. And the other people, it all comes together, and then I'll start reaching out. Me and Troy are talking a lot on Hangouts, and it's just a circle. It's just a circle of, love your neighbors. So we have to be very open-minded, because we're seeing stuff happening where we're all coming from different backgrounds. I didn't come from any type of structure. I came from just being poor in the ghetto. How did I see this without being within any church or any organization? How did I get to see this? Because of what this man just said, empathy. Because I had a lot of it. It's a huge variable. So
now, do you feel that's because we all have? I mean, obviously, there's got to be some kind of connection as to why we're all seeing this anomaly, this supernatural effect happening, and other people do not. Do you have any insight on why that we're all seeing this at the same time, or?
Ooh, that's a nice one. I just believe that we would have to dig deep into our ancient history to understand that. Like I said, we have a big hole, and it's not like, oh, we all became blind within the last 30 years. No, this has been a plan against us maybe for who knows how long. Could be thousands, and we're just seeing it all come to play now. So I can't say why people are, as we would call them, zombies or asleep. I have no idea. I have a small idea, or they watch too much TV, or been indoctrinated by the school system, or this and that. But
that's another question. How many people out there are going to be conditioned by the Super Bowl halftime?
Well,
Well,
I don't think that stuff. Like I don't. Whenever I watch these things now, I watch it with humor. Like I am no longer amused by the Illuminati or the Stonemasons. They don't entertain me anymore. And whenever stuff like the half bowl comes up, I giggle. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
me
what
too.
Are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Because it looks like you guys are losing. You know, the people who are in power, they don't look like they really have power. They look funny now, you know, and there's a reason for that. And you're gonna start seeing all these famous people, all these people that have power, looking kind of silly, and you're already starting to see it. I know you guys are. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
We do have a question. We do have a question from chat for Teresa. Teresa, do you hear us? Microphone. Teresa, are you there? Okay, Teresa, we have a question for you from the chat that says. We have a question for you, Teresa, from the chat that says.
Oh, me?
Teresa, you are from.
Yes.
You are from the
I'm not ready for that
one.
Wow, I actually get a question.
They are asking.
Okay, hold on.
Magic Mystery Man likes to ask if you remember McCarran Airport, several miles down from Tropicana Avenue, from the Strip in Las Vegas. They lived in Las Vegas for 3 years.
Yes.
And to them, it definitely moved. They think that it's a residual.
Yes, there's an explanation for that. McCarran Airport is so big that it actually takes up, how do I explain this? It takes up a lot of area. Like Tropicana goes like west, which is part of McCarran, and you've got like a private airport over there. And then you have on the Strip, which is also part of a private area. And then you got way behind it, which is like near Eastern and Sunset. That's part of the airport. So what it is it's so big that it takes up a lot of roads. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But yeah, the airport's always been there. The exception of that, you have the private areas in one part of it, of the field, and then you have another part of it, and then you have the regular airport. It's huge.
Did it move in your recollection?
Ask him, I can't see the chat room, but ask him exactly what is he talking about. Like when he's trying to I'm trying to understand this.
He's asking if the airport itself moved, and if it did, do you have residuals on it?
I don't think it moved because I've been living in Vegas since 2004.
Okay.
And I've always remembered the airport in the same place.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. So the answer to you, Michael, Magic Mystery Man, she does not see the airport move. For her, it hasn't. So hopefully that helps you out somewhat.
Where does he think it moved to? Ask him.
You just did.
But I can't see the chat room, guys.
Now, Lone, hey, let me ask you a question too. You know Area 51, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, you know, me growing up, you know, I've always remembered Area 51 being in New Mexico. You know, that's just where I recall being. Does that kind of resonate with you, or do you always remember it over there in the Las Vegas area?
I remember it being really far north, like past the Speedway. It's really, really far. I can't even get to it. I don't have a car.
How about you,
but
Lone?
I know it's really far, like far. And you want to hear a secret, guys? You want to hear a secret about Area 51? I found out.
Wait. Okay, go ahead.
Employees from the airport there every day.
Yes.
A private plane. It was on our local news. They literally,
I heard that.
Everybody who goes to work to Area 51 get flown out of McCarran Airport on a private jet.
Yeah, I heard
They don't
that.
drive the cars to work. They fly from the airport.
Heard that.
I mean, that's
too.
interesting.
It is interesting. Magic Mystery Man did,
It's
did
true.
reply.
They were showing it on our local news, Fox 5 News, and they were showing that. It was really interesting.
So, Lone, again, what the question is, do you remember
I'd like
Area
to talk
51
to him
being
further. Is there a way I can get a hold of him? Ask him? I'll talk to him more.
Who are you talking to?
I'll do it, Teresa.
The guy on chat.
I'll take care of it,
I'm
Teresa.
sorry?
I got it right now.
Hi, we got a response from Micro Magic Mystery Man.
I got it.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I
can
got
hear
you.
you perfectly.
I can't see the chat room, guys. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I got it. Don't worry about it.
Tell him I'd like to discuss it further with him. I'm trying to ask how I can get in touch with him.
I got it.
I don't want to get my phone number out over the air. Hey, if you want to put him like in a chat, you know how we have our PM. I'll be glad to talk to him.
Give me that 850 number, Brian, again.
850-764.
Oh, he can call in.
1552. Tell him to call in.
Yeah, go ahead and call in. I'll talk to you.
Brian,
I'll talk to you.
I'm giving him the number right now. He's going to call in, and you'll share
Awesome.
Teresa's Facebook information. This way they can chat on Facebook.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't mind him calling me also on my phone, as long as he doesn't call me at work.
It's done.
Okay.
And so Lone, question for you, bud. Hey, do you recall Area 51 being over there in New Mexico or?
Area 51 for me.
Las Vegas.
Has always been in Nevada, but
Nevada, yeah.
Yes.
The thing with New Mexico would be the Roswell thing that I remember. That's
that's me too. I'm on that timeline as well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Agree with
Me
that
too.
one. Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, they moved a lot of the secret stuff from Area 51. It's not there anymore. They moved it to Hangar. I think they call it Hangar 21. It's on a like a secured base now, where all the different corporations
It's the low rent side.
they set up
better
shop
coffee.
on the space. Huh?
It's the low rent side, better coffee.
Yeah, they set up this I guess secured base, for lack of a better term. They have different corporations on the same base. They each have different buildings now, and I think they call it Building 21 or Area 21. I'm not sure if it's building or area, but they moved a lot of their concept aircraft, whatever, to that base because too much was going on in Area 51. Plus, the fact is, Area 51 got contaminated.
It's too high. Notoriety is too high.
Yeah, they were burning some stuff there that ended up causing cancer and a lot of the people that were working there, and it contaminated a huge section of the area there. So they moved a lot of their aircraft from there to this other place. And the only reason I know that is because I saw a show on it where somebody actually, I guess, went to this place, Area 21 or, Building 21, whatever it is. And they said that it's now being considered a secret facility. In other words, you can go in, but you can only go to certain places, and that's it.
Right.
And you have to be escorted.
Right.
Yeah, you have to be escorted to that place. I don't even know where it is. Honestly, I'd have to look it up. But I do know
I think
that.
that is one of the things that you don't really know where it is. You got a general location.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's not on a map. I don't know where it is, but I do know that Area 51 got contaminated. I do know that they got sued because people got sick from the stuff they were burning there. They were burning like chemicals and other things that were pretty unsavory, and people got sick. So
Didn't they hold out forever until like the early 2000s to settle?
Yeah.
Settle these things?
Yeah.
They for a long time.
Yeah.
Long
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Well, for a long time they said that the base didn't exist. What base?
Like every other corporation in the United States at one time.
Yeah.
We weren't doing it. They held
No,
out.
it wasn't even. Well, it wasn't even we aren't doing it. It's what base? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right. Which is cruel.
It doesn't even exist. It doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole Area 51 for me has changed. Like, I used to check out Area 51 all the time on Google Earth. Area 51 has moved, and it's like changed a little bit of a direction. And the only reason why I know this is because of that dried up salt lake it's on. It used to be shaped differently, and it used to be on a different angle with that airport. That's at Area 51, and those buildings. That whole area is messed up. So you're also gonna find a lot of other stuff like that happening where there's like, incidences like Building 21. It just keeps expanding. This world keeps expanding, and it's very interesting stuff.
Well, building Area 51 actually had I guess parts of a mountain there that were actually used as hangars for different aircraft. And now that doesn't even exist. That part is no longer there.
When they dig out part of the mountain, they dig into the part of the mountain to use as a hangar. That's what
right, but it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, but it's not there anymore.
Because there's no mountain. There's nothing there.
There's no mountain. What mountain?
What mountain? Right, exactly.
Yeah, what mountain? And it falls right in line to Lone Eagle when he said that a lot of lakes appeared in Canada that weren't there. Whole sections of the country here in the United States either changed, became land, or became water. Like Delaware. Delaware is now an island, basically.
Yep.
This little Colorado River, was it? And the Little Grand Canyon. I mean, that's unmistakable. That's unmistakable.
That freaked me out.
There's also a Great Wall of Pakistan now, I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why this is so important is that Lone Eagle was there, and he did the study, like you said, when he did his 10-day trip. He went and he's planning. I'm assuming he's not rich, so he's planning. He's planning everything he's going to do every minute of every day. This is what I'm going to do, and he walked these areas, and now he's looking at the map saying these are not the same areas. These are completely different. I think I would have known if a river was there was no river there. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's exactly with major proof. I was there. I did the research. I had to go do the vacation.
Well, beyond that, just a little side note: the Inuit, who do a lot of fishing and hunting, they basically saw that something had happened with the Earth. The Earth's I guess its tilt had changed, and they noticed it by way of where the sun was, because they tell time by the way of the sun and by way of the moon, and they also tell the seasons by way of the sun and the moon. And so they called NASA and actually told NASA that something's happened, because the days are now shorter. And the sun is coming from the wrong direction, and the moon is coming from the wrong direction, and that means something's happened to our tilt.
Yep.
On the Earth.
Yes, perhaps. Yes, that's right. But I know that we all have our fingers, I should say, on the pulse of different things that are going on in various groups, in various Facebook postings, and various chats. One of the latest things that I just came up with, Harold, that I just found out about, was another person in Hawaii was at some gathering, whatever they were at, and there were two moons, and there were 2 moons in the sky. Okay. Now, before you guys go, maybe it was this or maybe it was that.
It was.
Well, I understand, but this guy is the most profound individual. He cannot be turned. You understand? He believes what he believes. That's just the way that it is. Don't argue with this guy. He's another ad man like me. So he turns around And I don't even know what to say. He goes, I wasn't going to take pictures of it because I didn't want everybody just attacking me that it was something else. But you're going to have to take my word for it. There was 2 moons in the sky. What does everybody think? And I said, well, if this guy is saying there's 2 moons in the sky, guess what? It sure as heck wasn't Venus. It's definitely 2 moons in the sky. So sure enough, so I'm waiting to see other people talk about that. And sure enough, they are. And it's obviously a problem. It's a big problem.
Also, the sun's coming from the wrong place.
Right, exactly. Now, if Harold is saying the sun is coming from the wrong place, you're pretty sure know that the sun is coming from the wrong place because he knows he's looked at the stuff enough times. It's Lone Eagle. It's like Lone Eagle saying, "Look, this river was not here." You're pretty sure that this river wasn't here before.
Yes. Namely, the little Colorado. Was it the Little Colorado River?
Yes.
Yeah. And there's many signs. Like it's not. I don't just like. We just have to understand our history. Like the Colorado River was a very stale river in the canyon because there was just no sediment running through it. There was like life was dying. But now at each end of this Colorado River, you'll find 2 rivers now. There's another river just like that at the other end, feeding it fresh water. And these are huge signs, huge.
Because you were alluding to the fact that they were damming it, they were killing it because the Colorado River. Then they had the Little Colorado River that brings in tons of sediment. Where did that come from? That's what you're saying.
Why didn't they dam that up? You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. I have to agree. I have to agree 100%. This is part of the reason why I love your videos so much because Lone Eagle, for those people who don't know, goes into great detail and he somehow keeps it interesting. Just a very interesting subjects on what would otherwise you would think would be dull, and it's not. He keeps it fresh, he keeps it flowing, and it's great. It's very good videos.
Thank you very much. Those kind words, man. Thank you.
It is. And Troy's a big fan too. We've all seen your stuff. That's why we wanted you on the show because we liked your cadence, we liked liked your subject, we liked your mannerisms. We thought you were great.
And all the channels are doing this. Everybody that has a channel, everybody flows naturally because it just comes. It's honest stuff. It's like, you know what I mean? If you're just honest and you're curious like a child and you're excited, you're going to sound just like that. And the information is going to be true and people are going to click, and talk to you. So
Right. And you're very quick to respond too, which is nice.
I'm listening.
Very quick to respond.
I wish I was that quick on the emails, though.
There's something I picked something up, and I get a response a month later. Sorry, I didn't get back to you. I've been busy for the last 30 days.
Yeah, social media skills, man. I just suck at them. But I didn't appreciate what I had. That's the other thing, and that was a part of. I went into a slump, and you could kind of see in my videos, like I get dark with these World War videos, and I get my thumbnails, I get all dark. That was me losing my way a bit, and then all of a sudden, I just was like, man, I need more color. Someone's like, you need more color in your life, dude. I was like, shit, you're right. And then I was like, it's because I fell in this slump, and I don't know where it came from, but I got out of it, and then boom. I took off again. So.
You know what, though? I can honestly say that I think, as you just said that, I think every one of us have been there.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. We've all been in slumps, for sure. We're just, we're not looking, we're not talking, we're just doing something else. Yeah,
and it's gonna happen again. People are gonna fall again, and you just have to get back up. And that's why you are at this level you're at because of perseverance. You have appreciation and sensitivity and understanding. Compassion, gentleness, deep love, and you understand what it's like to be on the bottom, so you appreciate life more. So this is another key to it's like empathy. Well, now you've experienced life, and you're like, man, I don't want that to happen to nobody else. So, it's a huge one.
Yeah,
very huge.
Wow. Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of theories out here, Lone, about what's actually causing this. Let me give you a little prime example. Obviously this is going in perhaps in a different direction. Let's just say that Nibiru is coming our way. Do you have any advice for someone that is big into the Nibiru theory coming our way?
Nibiru is is that Nephilim?
That's the giant planet, the destroyer planet, Planet X.
Planet X. Planet 10.
Nibiru.
So
Yes.
here's what I'll say about that. It's that story was being told on our old planet where we were on Sagittarius Arm, right? I forget where we are now.
I knew about that back in the, I knew about that.
We're now in
90s.
So they were giving us
Spur.
They were giving us precise calculations for us being there, but now we've moved. So I'm like, what? We still have these precise calculations. So I mean, if I really don't know that subject, I can't speak on that. You know,
Something's not adding up, is it?
What I do get from that, though, when a lot of people bring that up, is I do sense this huge sense of fear because I've seen the channels, I've seen all those YouTube channels. They're endless talks about Planet X, Nephilim. Yeah. I would just not even. Haven't paid attention to that stuff in a long time. It's just like the Federal Bank Reserve. I was terrified of the dollar collapsing. It's like I don't want to save my water. I don't want to go fucking defend my home. Right? You mean I don't want to be like a zombie apocalypse, like The Walking Dead. But I let that go, and it hasn't happened. I let that stuff go 3-4 years ago. It hasn't happened, and they kept saying it's going to happen in a quarter century. Buy your silver, buy your gold. It hasn't happened, and I ignored it. I just gave it no energy. Don't give that stuff energy. If you feel yourself fearful of anything, stop clicking on the video immediately. Don't go back to it, and then you'll see a huge change. You know, click on the love videos.
Wow, perception. Okay, good. I like that. That's good.
But I don't want to I don't know anything about Planet X. I can't sit here and tell you much about it. Like, you're talking to the wrong guy. I don't pay attention to that. It does not affect my life at all. None.
Well, and the reason why I say that is because there's just a multitude of theories that are going on that's actually creating this whole anomaly, this whole supernatural effect. You know, you hear all these different theories coming about, and so. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that you have to consider, you know, is that, you know, is this the apocalypse? Is this the unveiling? Is this all the things that you know, that are going wrong in the universe that we're in, or the multiverse, I guess, that, you know, are now exposing themselves? Because the reality is that here we have all these things coming about, these people that I perceived as good people, and, you know, now they're being perceived as like these pedophiles and, you know, these sex offenders and these really horrible people. Yeah. You know, the people that, you know, I guess, you know, I would never would have looked at them like that. I never would have perceived them. Look, what was it? The astronaut. Who was it, Ty? That was it? Not John Glenn. The alcoholic. Armstrong, yeah. You know, exactly. A very stoic man, a very, you know, well respected man is now some drunken fool.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my Lord. Yeah. Let me touch up on that.
What's ever happened in my timeline.
So you're talking about, oh man, I used to love these people, but now they're turning out to be these really bad people. And you're going to see a lot of that happening. And it's been happening for me for about 8 years. You know, I watched this series called Satanism and Hip Hop in Hollywood. And that's what really got me into this whole thing that we call conspiracy. This was 8-10 years ago. But I was like, are you serious? You mean Tupac is like that? You mean Eminem? All these guys are like that? Like, really? That's what they do behind doors? I was so let down. I was so upset, but at the same time I was like, you tricked me. I don't like being tricked, you know. I really don't like it. And I was like, you, and I don't want to swear, I'm like, you bleep bleep, you know, you, and I was like, man, it hurts. But you're gonna see this trend happening where these people, and you're seeing it already, and they're being exposed. It's like what is in the dark shall come to light, and there's a passage like that right in Luke somewhere. I don't know if it's totally related to everything I'm saying, but we're seeing a lot of this stuff. People who used to be really bad are now, they can't hide it. And you'll also see people start just, it's like, look at Hillary. Look what happened to her in the last 2 years of her election. She started kooky. Like, she started losing her mind. Why? Because that's what happens to these people. They've had such a threshold on us that they've already lost their powers. We're watching it dwindle. That's why I say to people, just hang in there. Stop approaching Mandelas with fear. Like, stop going, what? This is effing weird, man. Blah, blah, blah. be like, wow, we are witnessing their kingdom fall right in front of our eyes, like the ones who are paying attention. What Hillary was doing the last year, I was like, what is going on with her? Until I fully understand. I was like, oh, I don't fully understand, but until I got a really good edge on it, I'm like, oh, you mean these people are getting ugly and they're looking dumb? I was sharing stuff with Troy about Tupac, earlier, and he's just as amazed. And I was telling him, I'm like, look, you're gonna see this happen.
Big time, man.
Oh, you're talking about the Hillary clone.
No, I'm just talking about Hillary herself and like what's happening to her character.
No, I'm saying it's like right? she became a clone, No,
I don't know about clones.
It was one L, wasn't it?
Something. It was one L.
Here's a challenge for you guys. Because I know a lot of the viewers are very they love their country. They know all about the presidents. I don't.
Sure.
They know deep into their history. You're gonna start seeing them really shine and who they really are. And I've already looked into Abraham Lincoln, Washington. A lot of us already know about the surface stuff. But I'm talking about who they were married to, how crazy these people were. And I don't mean crazy like, oh, they're going around killing people. No, mentally crazy, like illnesses that these powerful presidents has had and we were unaware. You're going to see this occur now. It's all coming to light. I was just saying, I've been watching these videos on the turn of the century, and there's amazing information in there. Look back at your ancestry.
I'm sorry, I didn't get to announce, but Tom, Digital Scribe, just entered our chat. Hey, Tom, what's going on, man?
Hey, everyone. How's everybody doing out there?
Hey, what's up, Tom?
Doing great, man.
We got Lone Eagle.
Yeah, I know. I enjoy your videos here, Lone Eagle, especially about the retroactive history changes, It's awesome.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You got some cool video. The one that really shocked me, Lone Eagle, was your video about the difference in filming the camera. Like from World War One and World War II, and then you did 1890 something.
Yeah.
And it looked like they were using HD photography.
Yeah.
In the 1800s. It's like,
and then his hysterical laughter will definitely put that into perspective.
Yeah. Actually, he said.
It's beautiful stuff, and a viewer just sent me this awesome article on this student who had a hand pocket camera in like 1890. He was going around taking people.
What?
And I'm about to share that with people. Like, you guys can look it up yourselves. If you want to expose it, go ahead. I'm doing so many videos, but if you look into that, you'll see
camera.
Yeah, a spy pocket camera. It was the size of a his palm, like held in his palm. You just walk around, and the pictures were unbelievable. I'm like, how is this even possible? So
how could they have had that technology? Their cameras were the size of freaking I don't know, a backpack.
An antelope.
I'm telling you.
They were huge. They were huge.
Like a vampire deer, that big.
Yeah.
They were the size of a vampire deer.
Yeah, they had to freaking they had to open it, close it.
And find it. You could probably pull it right now and find it.
No, but I'm saying they had to take this thing and pull it off and expose this film on this huge thing. There's no way in the universe they had a pocket camera in the 1800s. No. It didn't happen.
We had another question in the chat. The question, because I just saw it. Said, who's
gonna be good? I can tell it's gonna be a good one.
It's not. It's from Aura 1. Aura 1. The fourth side of the 3 is 1, and wanted to know.
Yeah, what's the question?
Who the guy in the jacket was? It looks like Chris Jericho, and the only guy in the jacket has to be me. That I do not look like Chris Jericho at all. But,
Chris!
Wow. Yeah.
Wait, where's Chris Jericho? What?
I think I had to look him up myself because I saw some wrestler.
So you look like Chris Jericho? Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's what the person said, but I do not. But there you go. There's asked and answered.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
There you go,
There you
right?
go.
Good question.
Sure. Yeah, it's a Mandela effect. I used to be Chris Jericho, and now
There you go.
I'm not.
Yeah.
It's probably just a Mandela effect. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Chris Jericho is Canadian.
Interesting.
Right, of course, right,
Okay.
sure. Was Canadian, now stateside. I don't know what to say, but I do have I do have one thing to say about that for Bo Eagle, and also for Harold because he's in a lot too.
Somebody is squeaking on this line. I hear like squeaking or something like that going on in the chat or on the in the forum.
Is that a dog? Someone's animal?
Yeah. Someone's got like a whining dog.
Yeah, that's my dog.
That's Ty's dog.
Oh,
Always mine.
Someone has a whining dog. Might want to put that in the other room.
It's my pug.
Oh, you?
Yeah, when I talk,
He's got a whiny pug.
Yes, when I talk, she wants to be heard.
That's Ty's dog.
Yeah.
Well, plug it in. Plug it in, Ty. It's whining.
All right, now everyone has to share their dog.
Right.
I don't have a dog.
I'm
I
kidding.
got a cat.
Awesome, man.
Okay, so I did want to ask you guys, Harold and Lone Eagle specifically, how do you deal with, like me and Troy were talking about the myriad of Mandela effects that are they're not what we would call grade A Mandela effects. There may be Mandela effects where there's not a whole lot of agreement with them. They're small. They're not real strong, but they think they're a Mandela effect. How do you keep the purity of the Mandela effect and not have things go into what would be confabulation? It's a mismemory. How do you
That's a good question, Ty.
How do you keep it straight?
Yeah, you don't want to water it down. You want to make sure that they're true, authentic.
At the same time, Tom, we don't want to have consensus where, like a club, you got to believe the way I believe or the way that Harold believes, because if you don't, then you can't be in our club.
Oh,
no, there's still realities. I mean, like I bring this up before, like Stairway to Heaven. I always remember, but buying a Stairway to Heaven, Brian always remembers building.
I remember building it. That's so weird.
Well, that's why I think that the best way to handle it, I think, would be calling it. One would be a grade A Mandela effect, which is general agreement among everyone, and then a maybe Mandela, which would be not a whole lot of agreement, but we don't want to squelch anybody out. We're going to allow it anyway.
But also you got to remember too about what I said the last time with Teresa and the Fruit Loops. Like I've seen it with the FROOT months before Teresa saw change. So
that's it.
time.
You just invoked Teresa, so now you're gonna fake it.
You know what I'm saying?
Now you gotta face her.
Yeah. Now you gotta throw some money in the basket, and then you will be allowed to pass.
Influential Mandela, right? Well,
if you don't pass go, you don't collect $200.
That's it.
Monopoly.
Sure.
Ty,
I really think that this universe could be hacked. Really
Ty.
Yes.
I think that to answer your question, the best way that I can answer it is this. There are proactive changes happening, and then you have things that change back and forth. And I think those things are controlled by AI. I have a feeling that AI has something to do with that, because, things like songs, for instance, we saw this in Hotel California, where one word would change and then it would change back, and then it would change and then it would change back, and
this could be heaven or this could be hell.
Yeah, and it was changing on the fly. And the only way that could happen is the only way that could happen is like AI,
No, not the only.
I think sometimes it's a feedback loop too.
Yeah,
it's not the only way.
All right,
happen through. It's not the only way, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you what the way is.
I was referring to
tell me the only way.
and not-
Tell me
not
the only
other
way
one.
then.
I can tell you what the only way is. That's what I'm saying, but we can't sit here and say it's AI because we don't have no proof of this. All we have is
Right.
speculations, and it's just
That's
like
right.
everything else in this world. So that's why I said
So we're going to have to go.
It could
We're
be
gonna
your
have
own
to go-
consciousness affecting the reality too. You don't
We're
want
going
to
to have to
dismiss
go
that
with.
either.
We're going to have to go with grade A Mandela effects and the maybe Mandela effects. We're going to have to categorize them like that, or else we're going to be going into confabulation territory. And
We
don't want
should-
well,
we-
what I don't
we
know
should
what's an
form-
example of.
We should form a Mandela effects community board.
Oh, you think?
And we
Jeez,
could, like, we
what a
could-
great idea,
yeah,
Tom.
we
should all
could-
get together.
Yeah,
and
no,
talk.
this is what we could do. We could like sanction it. Go, yes, this is an authentic Mandela effect. It's been approved by the Mandela effect board. You know.
Well, exactly. We don't have to
If we
vote on
got,
it, but
like,
you know
a
what? The
board
fact
that
is,
we could put out
Yeah.
publishing every month of
Making
newest,
an a level A Mandela, level B Mandela is the old world thinking. This is where we put things in divisions again. We have to stop that. You're creating division again. You know what I mean? Like
Stop it. Stop it.
You know what I mean?
We're already,
Hey,
I think it's the greatest show on earth. If you ask me, it's the greatest show on the earth.
hey, Lone, do
Stop
you
dividing people.
have any insight on the you know, I know there's a lot of theorism on the 144,000 light warrior theory. Do you have anything about that? I mean, are you thinking about the chosen ones, the children of Enoch?
No, I don't. I don't know
Okay.
anything about that.
Well,
Okay.
those are the type of things that we're talking about. That's what's coming up. That's coming up, and that would be a maybe Mandela effect, where
Right.
people are putting that sort of conjecture up, and that's what we're
But
trying
it's
to
a lot.
stop.
There's
So
a
it's-
whole lot of speculation on everything.
Right. So what we're trying to
basically.
do,
You got to look
rather
at
than
that.
create,
the
rather than
pattern.
create
You
division,
got to look at the pattern.
is to
No, but
allow.
you want to look at the patterns that's going on. That's what you got to look at is the patterns.
Well,
I mean,
would-
self-admittedly,
And find
I
stuff
would
that.
just enjoy like what. Here's the thing
Oh,
that
yeah.
I've learned in the last 2 years is that there's. I don't think there's enough to put it all together. I think what we're supposed to do, because what's happening is like there's this raging river, and we're at the side holding on, going nah. I gotta get out of this. Just let go.
Oh yeah,
Let go,
baby.
let
Let
go.
it go. Let it go. Let the festivities
And let
continue.
the river
I'll-
take you, and don't.
Oh,
worry about
absolutely.
it. It's raging, but it will take you. It has been holding you this whole life. It just got a little rough now. Don't worry about it. But there's no need to be like small or big Mandelas. We can't measure this stuff. We don't.
No,
have
you can't. It's all the same, no matter what it is. There is no
Basically-
actually small or big. It's just a Mandela change, you know.
Yeah, it's
But
like
it's
there's
greatest
no,
show on
it's
the
like
earth.
there's no small act of kindness. They all cause massive ripples, and they all come back together. You know, it's all good. It's all good, man.
So essentially, just enjoy the ride. You know that we are the ones that can see. I mean, what is the privilege in that?
Oh, it's great, man. I mean, it's the greatest entertainment. Every day I find out a new effect. It's like greatest show on earth. I enjoy
I mean,
it.
it's a privilege with fear. You know, to see things that we once knew. The one thing that gets me is that we are the ones that can see this, but you know, at what cost? The cost is, you know, that the ones that we, the cost is for me, you know, personally, is that the ones that I knew very closely don't see it,
Oh,
and I think that's the running theme, you know, and you know what I mean is that, you know, you try to, you know, to point these things out, and the people that you once knew that you were intimate with, and you know that you had that, you know, very close relationship with, they don't, and now they perceive you as, you know, you're losing your mind, you're going crazy.
that's perfect. That's exactly. I hear a lot of that, and this is what happens. I'll tell you how I deal with this stuff. When I sit down at my computer desk, this is when I enter Mandela world. It's me, you guys, and Mandela. The moment I get off this chair, I enjoy life. I don't worry about. I am no longer trying to show these people Mandela in my life. I know I've learned something. Cannot do that. So once I'm off this computer, I'm gonna go enjoy my chicken shawarma here now. After I'm done here, I'm gonna go watch more documentaries, and I'm not worried about Nibiru. I have no I'm not worried about the central bank. I'm not worried about, and like, aren't they dying off? Didn't the Rothschilds and a Rockefeller die anyway? Aren't these signs like? Are we not taking heed of these signs as well? Like the powers that were are dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, look at the joy in that. You know what I mean? Search your history. What he was talking about with the spaceships and, you know, the planets, look into that more. Why do we have this planetary ring that's floating around? That's a bunch of rocks. Was that a planet before? I don't know. Look into our history. We have such a huge hole in our history. It's amazing that we could just, I don't know. I'm running off here. I was just.
No, of course. No, that's kind of like the consensus of what we're all thinking too, you know?
Yeah.
But search things with joy and curiosity. That's the thing. But like I said, once I leave this computer, this Mandela, I'm enjoying the world right now. And part of the reason why when I jump on, I'm excited. I'm like, hey guys, what's up, man? Hey, I got this shit to show you. Bloom, bloom, bloom. And then when I get off, I'm just excited. But now I'm even more amped to go enjoy my life. I'm like, man, I'm going to go deliver food. But this is like usually a boring job, but I love it. Let's go do this. So I'll do that for hours, you know what I mean? Make lots of tips. Good things come from that. I get mad tips, you know, because I feel I'm entering it with such love. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And well deserved for sure. You know, hey, Lone, you know, I don't know how much more time you have, but you know, I was going to say, man, you know, obviously you have a few series coming up that I'm intrigued about. You want to tell anybody about what you got going on, or?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to. So I've got 2 series. Like one of them is not really a series. Like probably 1 or 2 videos. It's going to be on my native culture. I found a native man who should be that everybody should know about. Maybe some of you do. I know I don't. Like we should say his name with Geronimo and Sitting Bull, and then it should be this man. This native man did not exist, but he is so powerful, and he's tied in with white people too. In the time that was just chaotic, you're like, what? Wow! And it also led me to I keep talking to people about the Hopi. The reason why I never put out a video, I respect them too much. I respect them way too much to be like, blah, I'm going to say this. But I've learned enough to say something.
Guys,
I didn't know enough then. I was not going to do what other people are doing. I had to learn about it. I've spent the last 6-7 months learning about this. So that's part of the series. I don't know how many videos that is. The next one, which you're going to like, Troy, is the ancient human civilization one. I'm going to take people all over the world to each site, all over the world, and I'm going to show you how they either didn't exist in our timeline, or B, they exist now and they've gotten bigger with each shift. And you guys can look into this yourself. I'm not really exposing anything. I'm just showing people what's already there. With each shift we go through, a place like Petra grows more. There are more Petras. There are more buildings carved out of rock. Go ahead, look into it. I'm not exposing anything. They're just there. The pyramids, Peru, all these amazing ancient sites. And that's what I mean about, because then you will learn about spaceships going up into space and blowing up planets, maybe. I don't know. But I guarantee you, here's the thing about ancient civilization technology. It's probably been way better than what we have now, but something probably happened that knocked them back into caveman time. It probably destroyed the Earth, maybe like a meteor hitting the planet or a flood. I don't know. But those people were smart when they survived it. They just didn't have the tools to rebuild it, so they look like caveman. There's just so much to life that's so beautiful. Doesn't that spark curiosity? Like, that's what we're going to be looking into.
No doubt. No doubt. And let me tell you, you have developed such a following, Lone, that you actually have a lot of eyes searching out for some of the other things that are going out there. So, of course, you get spoon-fed a lot of things, which is great, obviously, being in your position. You have such a way of presenting things that are fascinating. And, of course, it's going to continue to grow. And that's, I think, part of the reason why you've done so well. You've reached a lot of people on such a, an intimate level where people can relate to what you're doing. And, it's such a pleasure to have you, on the show. And by all means, I'd love to have you back on again to talk about some of the things that you're doing. For me personally, Lone, you pulled me through some really tough times, my friend.
Wow.
And personally, I was in what you were telling, the masses out here of what not to do. I was in fear. I was in panic mode, man. And you lightened up something that was so treacherous for me, and that's why it's such a pleasure to have you on, because you're such an enlightening person to deliver such a incredible message, and you have such a precious way of delivering this message that resonates with me personally. And man, I'm glad to have met you, glad to know you, and to have you on here, man. It's just, beyond words of what I can say. To even meeting you personally, talking to you, and hearing from you firsthand. And I hope that we can continue this, in further shows too, man.
Well, thank you very much. And it's because I watched before that. First off, thank you very much. Those are so kind. I don't know, no one's ever said anything like that to me before. Thank you. I will never forget that. It all comes from just watching everybody else. Like I said, when I say we're cut from the same cloth, it's because we're all watching each other. Now you're going to be able to take what I've been saying and run with it and talk to other people about that. I got what I'm saying, to other people. I had to learn this from other people not too long ago. So I'm still a student. You're a student. We need teachers. We need brilliant people ahead of us. And we need to listen more as well. But thank you very much for that. Jesus. But like I said,
listen, bro, you pulled me out of my shell, and you got me to a point where I can vocalize what I'm thinking. And I appreciate that more than you ever know, man.
Well, thank you. And just keep searching, because you're going to find it. Like everybody, keep searching. Look, you're going to see it.
We were looking forward to this. We were looking forward to this, you coming on the show for quite some time. We weren't really sure if it was going to happen, because we had tried several times before, wanted to get you on. And we're just thrilled. We're just thrilled.
Well, I apologize.
You're one of the few. You're one of the few that we like. We like all of your videos. We like all of them. They're all good. Yeah. They're all good.
There's not one that we do not like say, oh, by the way, on episode like 33, it was horrible. No. No, dude.
They're all good.
What were you thinking?
Thank you very much. And I'm trying to be so careful with the things I say and I present them. But I will say this: I've made lots of mistakes. Made so many mistakes on the way, but I've learned. But thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No problem.
I'll be there to torment you a little bit more along the way, but in the interim, man, you make it fun, you make it enjoyable, and it's a learning experience. And I'm glad that you're out here as a spokesperson, to deliver this insightful message, to all of us, because you on this channel alone, you have an enormous amount of people that are listening and watching and will watch, that really adore everything that you say, man, and that coming from my heart as well. It's truly inspiring.
Like Troy, when people are looking, they say, "Well, where can I go and look to see what are some good videos?" We always say, Lone Eagle.
Yeah, Lone Eagle. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. That is so awesome, man. That is
you take the fear. You take the fear out of something, so frightful. Right. I guess in that sense.
Yeah, and man, that is so awesome, man. Thank you so much for that. I was not prepared for that.
There you go.
Red. Thank you guys. Is your show done or something? You guys done?
No, we go on for hours.
We're going for hours.
We're waiting for you to sing your waiting for you to sing your native song, in farewell. Go ahead.
We actually run the show from Friday to Friday. You didn't
we figured you'd have this lined up.
We're ready to go. Right.
Yeah. We were just giving you a break.
Okay, Lon, you can go. You can play your flute now.
Hold on. I don't have my flute ready, dude.
My flute is clogged.
You guys like that flute?
Guys,
just break out the peace pipe.
How about
That's a good option. That's a good option. Pass the peace pipe.
You know what? I should probably peace out though from here though. That's probably my outro right there. But
there you go, brother.
Pretty late here.
All right, brothers. Thank you for coming.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll talk on the outside. Hey, thank you, brother.
Brian did put the link in the comments for people to follow and like and subscribe.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you very much, Brian. Thank
Yeah,
you for
please.
hosting, man. You know,
Thank
Brian,
you.
you're doing a good job. You know, just keep everything up, keep your head up. You know, approach the Mandela with love. Like, I know we all got fear. Let's learn to ditch that. Here's another thing: try and ditch some of the music you might be listening to. It's very bad for you. Entertainment. Ditch one by one. I got a video coming out on that anyway. But anyway,
I love it,
guys.
Good.
Love yourself. I love you. Love your neighbor. Amigo, peace.
Peace out, brother.
Thank you, man. Have a good night.
Thanks. We'll
Love
see
you,
you.
brother.
Oh, man.
Awesome. What do you guys think of that music? Pretty cool, huh?
Love it.
Oh, man.
Wow. That was a good show, guys. Yeah, that's a wrap. Hey guys, you know, I'm gonna split out as well. You know, hey guys, thank you so much, Brian. It's a pleasure as always, and everyone in the chat. You know, I love y'all, and you know, just what Lone said. You know, don't live your life, you know, in fear. Live it with peace and love. Love your neighbor.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go with that. So, you know, that being said, I love you all. I'm gonna split out. Ty, Seeker. You know, Brian, Teresa, thank you so much for letting me, you know, join you guys. And, you know, it's always a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
You have really awesome videos.
Yeah.
I do. I have none. I have 0 videos. I think I have one. Me freaking out over the you know, the missile thing. That's pretty much it. But otherwise, hey, I'll be joining you guys next week. I'm going to see if I can drum up some special guests. Who knows what's going to happen, but it may be a very, very special guest.
Thank you, Troy. Appreciate you, man.
Leaving us, Troy?
I'm going to leave you guys.
Troy.
Hey, love you all. Hey, take care, y'all.
We're going to probably
take care, Troy.
Great.
Good night, Troy.
Bye.
Good night,
Good night,
Troy.
Troy.
I have one.
Usually get out of here about 12:30 or 1, sometimes 2 in the morning.
I know. Brian, I got one for you. I got a Mandela effect for you. The 8 wonders of the world. The 8 wonders of the world. You know what they are, right?
No, what is it?
Well, I don't know.
Colossus?
Anyway, the Colossus. Well, they all existed at one point, and they were okay. But all of a sudden, the other day, I heard they asked the robot Sophia about the 8 wonders of the world, and she starts reading them off and saying they were destroyed.
What?
One at a time. Yeah, she read them off and said like 6 or 7 of them were destroyed.
No, there are
Which
ancient wonders of the world of ancient days.
Yeah,
Then there's
8
modern.
wonders of the world.
Was she talking about the ancient, Sophia,
I don't
or
know.
was she talking about the modern?
8 wonders of the world, she said.
And no, ancient.
What are the 8 wonders of the world?
8
great wonders of the world.
Andre
Yes,
Giant's one of them. I know that.
That's what she said.
ANCIENT. Ancient wonders
Yeah.
of the world. There are
Yeah.
there are 7 wonders of the world. They're ancient. And I think there is an 8th wonder of the world that everyone lays claim to
She
all
said-
over the world.
Well, she
But-
said that a bunch of them were destroyed. Most of them were destroyed.
Do you remember an example of one? Any
Yes. Zeus.
Yes, that's
The
ancient.
statue of Zeus.
That's ancient.
The statue of what is it called? The one that straddled the harbor.
Yes, that's ancient too. That's ancient as
Okay,
well.
that was destroyed.
Yes.
Then there was another one. No, there's another one. I don't know. She was
They're
reading them off
great.
too quickly.
Yes. But those are the ancient wonders of the world, and she is correct. That's why we have the modern wonders of the world now, because the ancient ones were destroyed. But the most fabled one is the Zeus one, I believe. Mount Olympus, I believe it was. Was that the one? And Fable. It's a fabled one. They don't know where
Well,
it is.
no, this
Is
one,
that correct?
he was a statue. It was a statue.
No. I know about the statue one, but the one that they don't know that is fabled, that they can't put their finger on,
Atlantis?
I believe is Mount Olympus. No, Mount Olympus.
Oh,
There was
Olympus.
an actual place. There's an actual place that was Mount Olympus that they
I
can't
heard.
find.
Well, I heard that one of them was actually under the ocean.
Atlantis.
Yes, Atlantis. Yes, that could have. That's again, they're fabled, but I don't know.
No, actually,
There's
I
a
was
lot.
talking about the palace of Zeus or something. Supposedly, it was under the ocean
Okay.
in Greece, near Greece somewhere.
Well, I
Okay.
think that's funny. It's underwater because Poseidon was the god of water.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
maybe it was Poseidon. I have no
Yeah.
idea.
Well, you got to remember that all these gods of ancient times, or we call them, fabled or whatever, they were taken as very serious religions back then. Of course.
Oh yeah,
Very much
obviously.
so.
But
Yeah, very much
but
so.
but I just recall the Sophia saying that destroyed. I was like, what?
Right. Yeah. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, 7 out of
The
8 or
pyramids,
something.
yes. In fact, Taekwondo, in the chat, where do the pyramids fall under? The pyramids are one of the wonders of the world as well, of course.
Yeah.
They're one of the ones that are ancient and are modern. They are included in both lists.
What about the 3 new pyramids in front of the other ones?
Yeah, right. What about those? Right. Welcome to the Mandela effect.
And why is the Great Pyramid and the other pyramid the same size now?
Right. I know.
Wait, I never realized that. Are they the same size now?
Yes.
Yeah, they're the same size now.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can look that up.
And the relative distance of the city behind it, I believe, is it right? Yeah, that's not the way it was. Yeah.
And it was lined up directly for Orion, right?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Initially.
I that's what I remember. I mean, I was not a big student of it, but that's what
Me either. I just remember these facts. You know.
Yeah, that picture on the far, right? See that picture on the far?
Yeah.
You got it there too, Brian. You got it.
See
That right
those
there.
3.
That's not right. That's not right.
No.
Okay, so-
see those
wait,
little.
hold
See
on.
those little.
There's
See the
3
little pyramids in front of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't there.
Yeah,
No.
our detractors would
They
say
didn't exist. They didn't exist.
Our detractors would say, well, that's just like the dark side of the moon. You never looked on the other
No.
side. No, I don't think so.
No.
No.
Furthermore, how?
See that city behind it? See that city behind it to the right, Brian?
Yeah.
See how you can see that? You could never see anything. There was nothing around. There's nothing there. It was just like, what is that movie, Scorpion King or whatever it is?
Yeah, it was all in the middle of a desert.
Yeah, all nowhere, right? Which
And
is why
this pyramid on the left and the pyramid on the right were not the same size.
No, that's why one is called the Great Pyramid, and that's what the Great Pyramid was. The Great Pyramid. It was much.
Yeah.
You understand? I'm pretty sure you guys know.
I'm noticing something too. Didn't they call it the unfinished pyramid? Wasn't there like a missing piece here at the top, the missing capstone? Wasn't there?
Well, no. The original capstone of the Great Pyramid was gold. They actually had a gold top.
It was tic-tac-toe 3 in a row, and they were not like this.
No.
That's the idea. Not like this.
Yeah. No. These three in the front, these 3 little pyramids didn't exist.
Right.
And the Great Pyramid was way bigger than the other 2.
Much bigger.
Hence it was called Great.
Great. Right.
So there's 3 little ones, right? I thought there were 10 all.
Yeah. No, there's 3 little ones in the front that didn't exist.
Right.
Right. And
now you got to remember, these 3 little ones are not 3 little ones in reality. They're just 3 little ones in the picture.
Yeah.
These things are
they're
massive.
not 3. They're big.
They're massive.
They're just not compared to the other ones.
What is the relation of the Great Pyramid to the stories of a building? Does anyone know?
Yeah, I heard. Now this is what I heard. Don't quote me. I heard that it was part of a power system. Initially.
Yeah, I heard that too. That's right. I heard that too.
That's what I heard.
It's a conductor of energy.
A conductor of energy, right?
Yeah.
Exactly right.
And I further heard that there were other pyramids around the world that actually connected to that one.
Right, Mayans. The Mayans.
Yeah. And furthermore, the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid were much older than they say they are.
They say, correct.
They say they're like 12,000 years old or more.
Tic-tac-toe 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3. See, 1, 2, 3. Tic-tac-toe.
See how the two are the same size?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
It was
then,
not
They
that
weren't
way.
the same size.
not
They
the
weren't
same
the same
size.
size. No, they weren't.
And you
The
can
great-
tell that they're massive because you can see what's by them. They
The
look
Great
like ants.
Pyramid. The
They
Great
lined up.
Pyramid was much
Yes.
bigger.
Yes,
The
much,
Great
much
Pyramid
bigger.
was much bigger. Yeah.
Yes.
And the
Right.
one on the right is much smaller now.
Yep.
Yep.
And those three lined up as the Orion's
Belt.
constellation.
Orion's
Right.
belt, yeah.
The belt. Yeah.
Let's look at that real quick.
But
Hold
they-
on.
Maybe now they point to the Sagittarius arm.
Yeah. They probably
You know,
do,
it's
actually.
funny. You know what this Mandela effect reminds me of, guys? It's like looking at Highlights magazine, the back of a Highlights magazine, and picking out all the wrong things.
Oh, you mean when
Like where's Waldo? Yeah.
I was thinking it looked more like Mad, Mad magazine where you used to have to fold the
Fold, yes.
the back one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that. You have to fold it in order to make it fit.
Right. Right.
Well, maybe this
Kind of like that.
a little bit.
Now there you go. Look,
Go.
they're not lined up. They're not lined up.
They're not lined up. Nope,
They're not.
Nope.
No.
You've never had a view
Nope.
like that before. Never. Those things.
Never ever.
Never. Never. Ever. Ever. They're going the
No.
wrong way. They're going the wrong way. Are they not?
Furthermore, we're in Orion's spur. So if we're in Orion's spur, and that means we're much closer to Orion than
Yeah.
we were in Sagittarius Arm, obviously.
Now, if this is true, we're all from the Sagittarius Arm, which I believe that we are, at least
Yeah.
in the present company that we're in. That means every time we look at the night sky, our heart skips a beat because
Yeah.
we know something's wrong.
Well,
That's
look
what
at it.
is.
But
Yeah,
look at
we're
it.
kidding. But we
But
know
look at-
instinctively.
Well, you know what you write in there?
What should I type in?
Pyramids alignment. Pyramids alignment to Orion's Orion.
Superior alignment, yeah, and then Orion. Just put Orion. No, forget about that. Just put Orion. There it is.
Orion.
Yep, we're good. Just like that.
There's a correlation theory.
Let's see the correlation theory.
Correlation between the location of the three largest pyramids of Giza.
That's exactly what they are. The pyramids of Giza. At least
No,
they got
no,
that
no.
right.
No, that's not right. No.
it's
That's not right. No.
it's
That's not right at
No,
all.
That's not right at all.
You know what it points to?
Nope.
The 11 and the 6. Look at it. The
Yeah.
11,
Yeah.
6.
Tell me about the
Yep.
11 and the 6. I don't understand the 11 and the 6.
All right, if you
On a
turn
clock.
this image and rotate
clock.
it, this is the 6 o'clock position, and let's say the 12 o'clock is over here. Now it's sitting at the 11 o'clock position and the 6th position.
On a clock.
Yes, as if this were a clock.
Yeah, they're not not totally
First
aligned.
of all, the pyramid on the far left was not the same size as the middle pyramid, obviously, and they were not aligned. They were not aligned like that. They were actually aligned differently. They were aligned in a straight line.
In a straight line.
Straight line. Yeah.
And it was not like that because this is not a straight line.
Harold is right. Harold is exactly right. Tic-tac-toe, 3 in a row. In a row. Straight line.
Notice the one on the far right. It's not aligned with the other two.
Correct.
No.
And they were in perfect alignment. You can set a clock.
Furthermore-
by it. It's perfect. Or not set a clock
Furthermore,
by it.
Ty was correct when he said the city was not near the pyramids.
Right. You couldn't see it. Not even close.
No.
Right. Which is why they were like, how did they get the bricks there? If the city's right there, maybe you could truck them in. But
Yeah.
there was no city there. There was no roads there. There's nothing there.
There was nothing there.
Right.
They had to bring the bricks from somewhere and then, across the desert. What is that, Cairo?
It is Cairo.
Yeah.
Or
Did they expand somehow? Maybe they expanded the city
Oh, yeah,
and
that's not our forte though. That's not our forte at all.
no,
I mean, I don't know Egypt.
I don't either.
I just don't know Egypt.
I don't either. But I
Yeah.
know that the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx are much older by thousands and thousands of years. They
Not
said
to
that
mention all the
Sphinx-
changes the headgear and everything, but the pharaohs and everything, that's all changed. We know that already.
Right, but they're saying that the Great Pyramid, and because it was originally supposed to have been the resting place of Khufu, and they said that it existed way before that. You know, like 12,000 years is what they threw out there. That's the number they threw out.
The Great Pyramid in the chat says that it has 8 sides now, not 4. Look at the Great Pyramid. It has 8 sides and 4. That's true.
Right.
Yes,
and the Sphinx. The Sphinx was 12,000 years old, they said.
Yep. That's about right. That is about right.
And here's another thing, just as a sideline, I just throw this out there. One of the pyramids there, I forget which one, has a melted steps, like the granite. Yeah, the granite coming into the pyramid was melted, and part of the wall was melted, and then re-solidified as if a nuclear blast happened there that actually melted the granite. Yeah, so that was the thing. They were saying that they thought that it was either a nuclear blast, or they thought that it was used as a generator for some massive amount of energy coming through.
That would cover what Seekers just said about a power source. Source. Yeah.
Right.
Because everything from using the Earth's own magnetism, the Earth's power, the Earth's core, etc., etc., etc. You know,
I've heard that. But then again, so did Tesla. Tesla said he wanted to use the Earth to transmit electricity wirelessly.
Yeah,
so he was able to do it, and if he was able to do it, then they were able to do it.
Well, yeah, because they were much smarter than people understand. They were very. They knew the way that I try to describe to people is that they knew what we knew. Mathematics has always been mathematics. They can figure it out. They had smart people too, and I always say that we are poor excuses for our forefathers. They're much more studious. They have much more. They can think a lot deeper than we ever could. Whereas we have so much distraction now. Where we are just poor excuses for people compared to that. We have just too many conveniences. I mean, let's face it, if we lost our water or electricity for a day or internet, we would be in trouble. If we'd be in trouble if we can't find our keys, we're in trouble.
Yeah, right.
Right? Oh my gosh, where's my keys? We don't know what to do. But,
wait a minute, that's exactly how they made fun of us in the in that newscast they did. What was it, on Fox or CBS or something?
Well, I didn't like the show you had on there, the X-Files.
Yeah.
They made fun of everybody, in the X-Files.
I think that's the only way they could have done it, to be fair. I think it's the only way they could have done it, to give a nod to us, to say that it actually exists, because they can't agree with us. They can never agree with us. If they can agree with us, then it would just give rise to a, let's face it, it's a revolution.
Probably a massive
right.
Yeah, because now you're talking about like Dr. Seuss's speeches, the ones with stars, the ones without stars, because those that see and don't see, you better believe there is a difference. There is a difference. So I mean, none of us thinks we're gifted, but let's face it, if I can see something that you can't, believe me, they'd be calling me out. They'd be calling you out too. That's the problem.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That wouldn't be a problem. So we're very cognizant of that. Very, very much aware. Very much aware. But speaking of MEs, any ideas with the MEs? I mean, obviously the 2 millions. Obviously there's all sorts of stuff going on. Huge things going on. And how is everybody doing? First off, we don't really get in a big group. It's hard to talk to see how we're all doing. How are we all doing? Are we doing okay? Yeah. What's going on? Harold, Tom, Brian, how's everybody doing?
Oh, me? I've been writing continuously. I've been posting like an insane person. Because I'm leading up to setting up the channel on hopefully this month. Setting up my my once a week paranormal show. I've been doing a lot of study on paranormal topic, and the more that I'm studying, the more I'm realizing, man, I don't
tell people about your channel, because we know about it, but we know very little about it. Brian is trying to talk about it, but we don't know anything about it.
Well, it's going to be called tentatively Paranormal Weekly, and it's going to be basically a scientific look at the paranormal. We're going to try to look at the paranormal from a scientific perspective and try to take away the Halloweeny boo factor, basically, and kind of ask the questions that sometimes people don't want to ask. Like, what is a ghost? What is a demon? What is, are the gray aliens actually demons? Are they demon possessed? Are they just people from another reality? What are they?
So you view it that you've gone as far as you can go within the forums, basically.
So far, yeah. I've been writing some pretty deep stuff. I've been doing a lot of research, and the more I'm researching, the more I'm realizing that this desperately needs to be done, because I've joined a lot of different like paranormal forums, and it's like Halloween every day in those forums.
Right. All the paranormal forums are like that. They get like that.
They're like the boo factor. What do you see? Do you see a ghost? Do you see this?
Right,
do you see that?
The paranormal factor, I'm telling you, I have to agree with you, Harold, because the paranormal ones, the trouble with them is that everything's a ghost, everything's a demon, everything's scary, everything's over, everything's dead.
Yeah.
But when you go on the Mandela effect, everything's a Mandela effect. Everything's bad.
Yeah.
We're
but you got to have a but you have to have a rational perspective.
Yes,
a rational perspective, and look at it from a rational point of view. All right, is this what it is? Like, all right, I'll give you a perfect for instance. I asked the question, what is a demon? Mm-hmm. And I started studying it from that perspective, and the closest I could come to it, to understanding what it is I think, now this is just me, my opinion, it means nothing, but I think that what a demon is the spirit of the Nephilim, the fallen, the children of the fallen angels, right? But they're fallen angels and human women, and because they were cursed, just like their father, they were cursed to stay on the earth. And so they're not fallen angels, because fallen angels have bodies.
Well, I got a question though.
They got tossed down.
Well, the obvious question
they got tossed down.
The ones that since man's hearts were only evil continually, and God commanded Noah to build an ark because he was going to flood the earth because it never rained before that. No one knew what rain was, so Noah was especially crazy because there was no rain. And then when it started raining, flooded out the entire earth, the windows of heaven were open, and everybody died. That includes those Nephilim that you were talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Killed everybody. So where did they come from if they were all killed?
All right, here, let me explain. I'll explain that. The Nephilim, because it does say that the sons of God and the daughters of men, okay? Yes. And it does talk about the Nephilim, okay? And
it doesn't say Nephilim,
I'm thinking,
but that's what it is. That is what it is.
But I'm thinking that these demons were the Nephilim that got killed, basically, I guess, in the flood, and they were stuck on Earth. They were cursed because of their fallen, parent, basically, and so they weren't allowed to go, anywhere else. So they're stuck on this plane, and so they basically joined with their parents, more or less, and that explains why they're constantly trying to possess a body, because they can't. They weren't allowed to.
I understand what you're saying. What you're postulating is simply that the Nephilim have become the demons of the earth.
The
devils of the earth.
Basically,
you guys understand
basically.
that in the King James Bible, there is no such thing as a demon. They're all called devils.
No,
That's why I call that-
yeah. But what I'm trying to say to you is that I asked the question. I started out postulating the question, what is it? Okay.
What is it? Right. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Then I had to look at it and say, well, is it a fallen angel? Well, no,
Right.
because fallen angels have bodies. They actually fell. They were tossed to the earth, basically, to this plane. So they have bodies, you know, and
Celestial.
yeah, they have bodies. So,
Celestial.
yeah, but they still have bodies. They were angels. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or archangels or whatever.
Hold on, just following along the same path. Remember, the angels, remember in Hebrews, it's in the book of Hebrews, it says the angels who left their first estate.
Yeah.
So the angels had a first estate. What was their first estate?
Heaven.
What happened?
Celestial heaven.
Well, remember
heaven.
remember the book of John. Remember the book of John. It's for the kingdom of heavens. For the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah. I know.
Violence. The violence taken by force, right?
Yeah.
Suffer violent, and the violence taken by force. What heaven was he talking about in the book of John?
I don't know.
Well, it's
Go ahead. Enlighten me.
The kingdom of heaven. You're standing on it. You're standing on the kingdom of heaven. Okay. This is This is a type. This is considered the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of God is celestial. So when it says the angel left their first estate, where did they leave from? Where did they leave from? So remember when Adam and Eve were told, "Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth." There is a doctrine out there that says that you're standing on what used to be the angels' first estate. This is their old home, and they're mad because they lost their home to us. We are now, that's a doctrine. That's a very old doctrine. But this is the second. There's going to be three heavens because God works in threes: Old Testament, New Testament, and the Testament to come. You see, three, all threes. And we have the first earth that was destroyed, the earth that we're on now, which would be considered the second earth, and this present day heavens and earth is reserved for fire. And there'll be a third earth, the new heavens and the new earth. So you want, again, working in threes. So there we go. Yeah. So the first estate, so the Nephilim that you claim to be here, which could be completely plausible, they didn't have to be left over by Noah's flood. This is just where they go because they got nowhere else to go. This is where they go. Does that make sense? Cursed. Yes.
Well, they were cursed.
They were cursed.
They were cursed.
They're cursed because they fell. They fell. A third of heaven fell. Of course.
Yeah.
So they were cursed.
Yeah, but
I allow what you say just by saying that they consider this their home and they hate us.
Yeah.
They hate us.
Well, they hate us. They hate us.
Yeah.
That's
they hate
about,
us.
They hate us, you know.
Yeah. And we're made
we know that.
Well, because they hate us because we're made a little less than the angels. That's why.
Yeah,
a little less.
The fallen angels also hate us.
Oh, they hate us too. Yeah, they hate us because we, of course, we're beloved of God. That's what.
And of course, Lucifer hates us.
I want to
yeah.
I guess we got Eman's in the chat. He would
come
Hey, where is he?
I'm gonna get him in.
Get him in here. Get him in here.
All right. And I'm sorry I haven't been paying too much attention to the audience. Tony is here with us. Tony,
why are you not paying attention?
Why are you not paying attention?
Why are you not paying attention?
Mikey, what's up, Mikey? Yeah, let me get E-Man in here. Go ahead, you guys keep talking.
Yes.
I'm gonna get him.
Okay, all right. So anyway, that was what my conclusion was, that these demons were actually the Nephilim, and as far as I could tell, I mean. I looked at all the possible scenarios, and that's the one that came, sounded right. Do I know if it's? But then again, without data, what is it? Speculation.
Right.
Yeah.
Hearsay.
Yeah. Hearsay and speculation. I have no idea. I'm just throwing it out there. That's my opinion. But I would. but I would rather at least come up with a rational opinion than
nothing
at least
nothing at all.
Yeah,
because
at least
with nothing at all. I hear what you're saying, and I think what you're saying is simply that when you have nothing at all, you're just going willy-nilly with anything. Might as well just throw in 7-Eleven, The Simpsons, Family Guy, and Scooby-Doo and see what we got.
Right.
Because that's what people
do.
That's exactly.
There he is. Hey, welcome. Hey, man. How are you?
E-Man, I have a question for you. First of all, hello, how are you? Brian and I were thinking of you the other day, and we were asking around, does anybody have E-Man's number? And I said, I don't think so. I don't think anyone has his number. I don't think anyone can get a hold of him. Do you mind giving? Can you mind? Can you mind giving Brian some contact information if we have to get a hold of you?
Yeah. I give it to Brian.
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Tom, actually, I think my message. See, what's happening is they messing with our electronics, and so I'm having to reset my phone more than usual. I had to reset my phone like once a week, and sometimes I forget to re-download Hangout, and so that's why.
Yeah, Hangouts is not the greatest. Hangouts is not the greatest.
But I give them
No.
I give them right. So I give them my regular number. I'll give it to you later, Brian.
And you know what else they did? They took Lone Eagle. He's in my group, and they periodically kick him out of the group.
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah. So I have to keep bringing him back into the group because periodically they just kick him out.
They trying to monitor us real.
I've seen that before. It does happen.
I think Brian said.
Yeah. They kicked him out twice now. And I had to bring him back.
I have an Apple computer, but I can't tell you how many times they keep rebooting my computer just to see if I get
it. Y'all hearing that delay?
Yeah, there's a delay.
What did you say, Eman? That there's a delay. Small delay.
But I was hearing y'all talk.
You mean from the chat? There's a delay from the chat.
Still here because Teresa had a supernatural experience or paranormal experience.
When?
She tells me about this shell that was sitting on her shelf and it flew off.
Yeah.
Hit the door. So
yeah.
It freaked her out, I think.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had something happen to that like that in the church. The last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The clock that was sitting behind me just fell on my head. And 'cause
3 times?
I'm a musician. No, it fell on me once, but the other 2 times it just fell off the floor because I moved my seat.
Yeah.
And then recently, I noticed that when we sitting in church in Bible study, the clock the time be right. And as soon as we start service, by the time we end service, the clock be an hour behind.
Huh. That's weird. Wow. You know what happened to me? My daughter's room. My daughter uses Christmas lights in her room, and she unplugs them. And she's been sleeping downstairs with her mother, so she hasn't been sleeping in her room. Every day it's dark in her room, and every night the Christmas lights are plugged in, but she doesn't plug them in. So one night she took the lights off the wall and left them laying outside the door. And when we came back, they were on the wall and plugged in again. Yeah. So
it's some
weird stuff. Weird stuff happening,
But I heard y'all was talking about the fallen angels and how they.
Yeah.
But if you really wanted the Bible, see, a lot of people don't realize that I take concept clues with everything I read. I don't just listen to people, the pastors and them been feeding us. But I remember, see, if y'all look in Genesis where God said, let us make man in our image.
Right.
That was a creation that was started already.
Yeah.
And then he created men in his own image. So that's another creation he made.
and then he
Yeah.
made Adam and Eve. So it was three sets of people, two sets of people, way before Adam and Eve, and then was even made. And see, that's what people don't realize. And when we say these different dimensions, these dimensions been here before. God just took it away because that's where you get the angels sleeping with the sons of men.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And all of that because we was able to see angels and see the other dimension, but God had to cut it off. That's why He destroyed the earth the first time because He gave us too much. He gave us too much processing power, and He had to cut that off. That's why the human brain we don't use but 10%. Because He had to cut the rest of it off.
Well, yeah, but you know when He did that, right?
Yeah, with Noah.
No. He did this at the time of the Tower of Babel. During the Tower, when they built the Tower of Babel, they were trying to build it to heaven.
Yeah, they were one mind. It was one mind.
Yeah, so God basically destroyed it, and He scattered the people and their languages, so that nobody spoke the same language anymore.
Right. See, so that's why they say if people work together, we can get something done. But people don't work together. That's why we have all the division because we have more authority and they have more power when we work together. And that's why I don't like these churches because we done made the church a business. We done made it as long as my business be up and running, I don't care about your business. I remember years ago they used to say it was a liquor store on every corner. Now you can't say that. It's a church on every corner, but they're not doing nothing.
No.
You got a church on every corner with 16 members.
Well, there's a church in the South. I don't know exactly where it is. It's a Baptist church. It has 60,000 members, and I think Joel Osteen is on the. He's on. It's a Baptist church, and apparently this Baptist church wants to unite with the Catholic Church and its doctrine, basically. And they're saying that this Baptist church, I don't know the name of it offhand. I just remember it because they said it had a octane thing over the what is it called, like a pointed star, a 6-pointed star over its altar, and they said it had there were several. It starts the services every day, every Sunday at 11:11.
Guys, we're gonna speaking of 11:11. Hey, we're gonna have Photo Helix is jumping on here with us.
Oh, okay.
Right on.
Yeah, okay.
Let's give him a warm welcome. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This Baptist church has 60,000 members, and apparently they start their services at 11:11 every Sunday. And they said that they, when you see them start the service, the words are upside down.
Yeah,
right side up and upside down, meaning as above, so below.
Right, I seen that. I seen the YouTube video of the church.
Yeah, exactly what I'm talking about. The YouTube video. Yeah. I just saw it not long ago.
And, I mean, it's but if you really well, a lot of people the stuff that we encountering, it was always foretold. We just didn't really. I think the reason why it's so shocking to people because we read it, but some of us we didn't really believe it. We just read it in stories and it sounded good. But when it's actually happening, now people don't want to believe that it's happening because they didn't believe it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And so it was just it was something like a scare tactic to make people want to go to church. But now we actually in the war. Now don't nobody want to fight.
Yeah, of course not. Because in order to fight, you got to be willing to lose something. You know, and they don't want to lose something.
Hey, Photo Helix, welcome, brother.
Photo, how are ya?
Who's that?
Hey, Mr. Photo.
Photo Helix.
Here.
Hey, Photo.
Hey,
Who's that?
Welcome.
salutations.
Yes, yes, yes. And so, you know,
How are you?
Hey, that's the man now. Photo the man.
Yeah.
Doing good.
Yeah.
How is everybody?
We doing
All right.
Doing great, man.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a full room. Teresa Lynch is in the room.
Yes.
You got a
Hey,
ring?
Yeah.
Photo Helix.
Hey, girl.
Yeah.
Hey, MS man, my favorite of all. I'm telling you, E-man,
Hey,
you're the man.
welcome to the show.
Yes, yes, yes.
Welcome, Photo.
Harold,
Photo,
how are you?
Hey, how are
we
you?
finally meet.
Welcome.
How are you?
Let me mute this. There we go. I'm the one doing bleed over. Okay.
Oh, okay.
How is that, y'all? I apologize for making
That's
a
okay.
ruckus. And
Oh, no,
Mr.
you're okay.
Brian
So cool.
McFarland running the room.
Yes.
The man with the plan.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Wow, we're
They got
having all kinds of
president-
cool guests on tonight, guys.
I know.
It's like a
No,
full
they got
house.
President-
Brian, why don't you introduce everybody to Photo?
Okay, Photo Helix. We have Harold.
He knows
Harold's
me.
in the headset right there.
Yep. He knows me.
Yep.
Yes, I know Harold.
Corey, do you know Seeker of Truth?
Seeker of Truth, yes.
The Lion Head?
Yes, I know Seeker of Truth. I didn't realize it was the lion head.
Yeah. Well, that is.
And
So,
then you
Jimmy.
now, okay, the leather jacket with the cool model looking guy.
That's Ty.
I talked to you before, Photo. We don't necessarily agree, but I still watch your stuff.
Well, bless your heart. That's cool. Hey, man, I am the kind of person I love to agree to disagree with
Hey,
people because
Photo.
you know it takes all kinds
Hey,
of
Photo.
us, right?
That's it.
Hi, Teresa. How are you, sweetheart? Am I allowed to call you sweetheart? That don't sound right, does it? I shouldn't say sweetheart because my wife might not appreciate that. Nah, she don't care. She wouldn't care.
You don't care.
I don't want to offend you, Teresa. You're a sweetie, though. You know you are.
What? What I was getting at was we have the word presidents in the Bible now. It's in
Yep,
Daniel.
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I think I did a video. I did a video about that. Ooh, Lord Jesus! Almost a year
Yeah,
and a
that's a
half.
long time ago.
Yeah,
MS Man made one. MS Man.
Book of Daniel, right?
That's
Hey,
correct.
hey, Photo. Hey,
I was in
Photo.
Google when I was seeing that, but
I had to
EY
change-
did a
Hey,
video.
Hey,
Sorry.
Photo. I had to change that photo. I had to take the MS off. So they were like, "Why you got Miss there? You a man." So I took the MS and just put the E-man. And then
E-man.
I kept getting that question.
I've never looked at the name. I just called him E-Man from the beginning. I just
Yeah,
I
me
always
too.
called it MS Man, and then it wasn't
Yeah.
until later I realized it was Miss Man.
Miss Man.
right.
I just called it MS Man and MSE Man.
There
Right.
we
Now
go.
it's E Man, so
Well,
that's all right.
Yeah.
I just made it simple.
Effected Man. What does the E stand for in that? If you're taking out the MS on it, now it's E Man. Is
Right.
that affected man?
Yeah.
No,
Affected man.
See, no, what it is, my name is Emmanuel. I just said E-man.
Emmanuel, brother, I'm going to tell you, there ain't a better name to have. You know
Yeah,
that.
God among us.
For Gabriel sent his angel and spoke to the mother, Mary. Said,
Yeah.
Thou shalt call his name Emmanuel, for he shall save his people from their sins.
There you are.
And Photo Helix, help us out here, brother. Was it Emmanuel or Emmanuel? With the I or with the E?
It was an E, and I know.
I believe it was
an
E,
Now
brother.
in the Bible, it's got an I. And the Bible's got
Say
an I.
what
I'm like,
now?
wait a minute.
What?
It's got an I in the Bible now.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I did a
ain't
video about that.
Emmanuel, it's Immanuel now?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was
Aw.
Emmanuel. It was Emmanuel.
It was EM. That's
Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
man.
Absolutely.
And
Now
now
it's
it's
I am.
I am.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, Brian, let me ask you a question, because I probably could ask questions to everybody on the panel if we take time enough. I don't know how long you've been running or how long you want to go.
We run Friday to Friday.
Yeah.
Basically. 12:45, or about maybe 1 o'clock tops.
1 o'clock, you want to stop?
No,
Yes.
it depends how low we're going, because we just keep going. It just
We're gonna have to. It's 12:30 my time.
12:30 my time too.
Yeah, that's what it is.
11:30 my time.
12:30 my time.
But it's good. We're thrilled.
What time
We're
is it
thrilled.
your time?
We're not looking at the time at this point.
Yeah, just relative about 30 more minutes, maybe.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Well, you asked me if I drop. Listen, brother, I just stopped in a chat room to say hi. I was looking in and listening in, and you'd asked me if I could drop in for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So, did you have something you wanted me to ask me, or?
I wanted to ask you, Photo Helix, how long have you been seeing the quantum changes in the Bible and other changes? How long have you been noticing them?
Well, the first time I had noticed, the first thing I guess I probably noticed, no kidding, just on my own out of the blue, was Berenstain. Okay. When I first made that video about the wine skins, that particular change.
I saw that. I remember that one.
Right.
That one, that had over 500,000 hits. People have loaded it, downloaded it, copied, shared. It's just really ridiculous. But when I had seen that, I had been studying that particular scripture. Every time I opened my Bible for 3 weeks now, folks, every time, because I was an avid Bible reader, and I would open it up, and it kept falling to the wineskins. And I told my wife, I said, man, after about the 3rd week, going on the 3rd week, I said, God's trying to tell me something about the wineskins. Now, it was a day once upon a time back in my life, I stood in a pulpit and preached out of that very Bible about those and how important they are. And did you know, man, on that 3rd week, I was looking in there, and it didn't say wineskins. My jaw hit the floor. I about fell over. I thought, okay, now this is what Alzheimer's feels like. And I thought, Lord, I've lost my mind. And so I went to her. She said, that's not right. And I said, you're telling me. So I started digging out my old Bibles. Then I started flipping out a little bit. I'm thinking, okay, all the other changes I had noticed previous and prior with labeling and different products and things like that, hadn't really thought much about it. Figured, hey, new age, we're new time, new labels, new stuff, everything changing. Yeah, you just sort of write it off because I really hadn't focused that much. But boy, when it hit the scriptures, I was like, okay, now we know we're on a supernatural battleground. Something on a quantum level is taking place. And I would say personally, when I go back and look, because there were certain things I had noticed, and I thought, well, maybe I have misremembered something, or maybe I had just looked at it the wrong way, or things like that. You sort of try and justify. But, man, there's certain ones that there ain't no justification for, and that was one of them. And when it hit me, I was, like, freaking out. You can see me in that video. I'm like, and I'll check the Lord's Prayer, and I started looking at different ones that I was real familiar with, like Matthew 7:1, about judge not lest you be judged. I mean, everybody knew that one. Like, oh no!
Yes,
yes.
That's
crazy.
Exactly right. That's exactly right, Cody. You're exactly right. That's a huge one for me. That's where my that's the first one I saw, and it was all downhill from there. And the thing about that,
I think God woke everybody. I don't know when God woke you up on Photo. But it seemed like it was a really, really awakening around 2016, because that's when God had me to get sick. He has a way to get your attention, because I got sick, and he know that I'm a researcher. And when I got hoarse, I was hoarse for about a month, and I said, nah, I know this ain't natural. And that's how I bumped into the Mandela effect, because I knew that wasn't natural. And it was like 2016, maybe it was like maybe June of 2016, and that's when I ran across Photo Helix video.
Right, me too, photo. About that 7-1, when I delved into it just for a second, I'm not going to go long. It's going to be 15 seconds, okay? When I did the Matthew chapter 7 and judge not lest ye be judged, not only couldn't I get anybody to agree with me, but it seems that when I went to try to debunk it, because I was trying to be honest, let's try to debunk it, and I went to Matthew chapter 7, verse 1, judge not lest ye be judged. Not only had the verse changed, but they had a different history surrounding it. Matthew chapter 7, verse 1, or Matthew chapter 7, was the most often quoted verse in the Bible. That's all you would hear. That's the only Bible verse that people knew next to John 3:16 was judge not lest ye be judged. Now
it's easy.
Now the new history is that it's the most often misquoted verse in the Bible.
Yeah.
And I said, no way. And as soon as I said no way, I couldn't get any of my friends, any of my Bible friends. These are pastors, these are preachers, these are missionaries. I couldn't get anybody to agree with me. Not one. Nobody.
But I think
not that anybody wanted, so that's it. That's all I wanted to say, Fono.
I think some of them, their eyes are shut because they don't want to see. They rather hear the lie than the truth.
Well, let me make a comment. Go ahead. Aura One, now y'all know if y'all have caught me over on Scare Performance Channel where we do some of the call-ins there, and I'm on a panel.
We know Dan.
Yeah, we know Dan. Okay. Yeah. Well, Brian drops in over there, and Lisa, she was carrying a wrench over there the other day. I was just, y'all know me. I'm one for looking at the chat room.
I got a wrench.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a wrench. That's what I said. You had a wrench the other morning when we was over. Anyway, Aura
That was so cool.
The 4-side 3. So I'm probably saying that name right. It says, no, I don't agree that it's just a spiritual battle. I've seen much out here that suggests otherwise. It's something far more profound occurring. I'd like to chime in on that comment since they're in the chat room, and I would say that it is far more profound, but I'm going to tell you, if you understand the concepts of spiritual battle, you can't get a whole lot more profound than that. It is a test of the heart, for sure. It's a test of the soul, a test of the desires. We're seeing things in the physical manifestation taking place. We're seeing things in the spiritual manifestations, lots more of those we're seeing take place, evil and righteous alike. And so depending on which side of the fence one seems to be on this day and age, whether you're seeing or not, those that can't see the changes, folks, are already blind to such a point of anger and issue. Boy, they'd just soon slap you upside the head as to talk to you, which I find interesting. But to say a spiritual battle is to encompass all things, not just to say, hey, it's a physical battle. If it's physical, we can go out here with some guns and some bayonets or knives and thump on somebody. We can pull up our military background. I know how to disable a human being pretty easy. Sure. Not a bad thing to do. Well, I won't say it's a good thing to do. I'm just saying in a physical battle. But on the supernatural side, your guns and your knives and all of those things are foolishness. They ain't going to take something out. You got to be planted solid, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Amen.
And so this encompasses mind, soul, body, all of it. And that's why I refer to it as a spiritual battle, because in the ultimate end, it's a battle for your soul. That's a fact. And this whole change thing we're seeing, I'm not so hung up on it at this moment. All of these things were prophesied. What gets me now is that everybody is being distracted by these things. Whether I think it's more of a wake-up call. You can't even sit down to your morning cereal without saying, hey, wait, that ain't right. Something's wrong with my reality. People getting in their cars and gears and things on it are different than what they remember, and logos are different than what they remember, and everything you look at is different. And so the people that read their Bible and's got the scriptures on their heart, well, they know, hey, that's a wake-up call from a prophetic standpoint. And the people that are just driving to work every day, people that work on cars, they know the differences with the different logos and things. I mean, almost everybody uses Febreze at one point or another, and well, doggone, you know, we see now as 2 E's is gone. It's just 1 E. People are even now so confused. They don't know what was and what wasn't, and just a few misspellings somewhere, and everybody thought, oh, that's a Mandela effect. And we're so confused as a nation, we don't even remember now ourselves. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy.
But I want to bring up one big topic that we go through all the time, because this is primarily a spiritual chat. Everybody here is Christian. Everybody is. This is primarily a spiritual channel, but we do get secular every now and again because we talk too much about Fruit Loops. And but it does come up.
That's so funny.
One of the things that we see is that we get people that they argue about Bible stuff, and a lot of the MEs that they bring up, a lot of the changes are not changes.
Right.
They're because they never read their Bible to begin with. They argue, they say that's never been that way. Let's say it's stuff. The stuff in the Bible, that's never been there. Well, I say, yes, it has. Well, they say unicorns, it's never been in the Bible. And I say, well, sure it has. And they go, no, it hasn't. So yeah, of course it was. For me, and then I got to say, in my memory, it's been there. But in your memory, I got you have to just allow it because I don't want to argue with them. How, in your opinion, how can we diffuse something like that? Because we don't want to separate people.
Well, and that's the greatest point right there, brother. You're making such a wonderful point. Here's what I would love to be able to get together and have, as it were, a gathering of sorts of minds. That's one of the reasons I do that show over there with the After Hours Club with Dan, just to try and because to bring different individuals in that are experiencing this. Scripture says that in the last days I will, God speaking, or referencing God speaking there, says, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Now that is something that's important to remember, because we also know that in the end days there's going to be a famine, not for food and water, but for the hearing of the word. Right. Now, also, let me say this, too, because so many Christians who are experiencing this are having a hard time grasping the concept that there's something changed as they remember, because they say, well, that's the word of God. It's infallible. I'm going to tell you now, folks, it's ink on paper. If the Berenstain Bears can change, matter can change all around you. This world's passing away quicker than you think. God said all the islands are going to be moved out of their places. And so when we start seeing these geographical changes and everybody's like, well, that's impossible. It's like, really? Are we putting God in a box? Come on. And so he says these things that we are going to see and witness as a timing for those who know the scriptures and the prophecies to be on the lookout and know what is coming next. I put out a video about retrocausality, the concept of waves, that we're seeing things increasing in intensity and frequency as we move forward in our lives and into the future. How long do we have? I hope we have forever, but I don't know that I got tonight. You know what I'm saying?
We talk about retrocausality all the time.
So here's the thing, folks. Everybody gets so sidetracked. Remember, Lucifer is the author of confusion. Very important. Very important. God is allowing us to see something. If you got just one change, I don't care what it is. Maybe it's the Lord's Prayer. Maybe it's Fruit Loops. Who knows? Whatever it is that changed for you, that you know in your heart and your mind beyond a shadow of a doubt, something changed. Man, it could be something as simple as a photograph that you took. You just know it's you, and nobody else has to know it. Okay? But when it comes to some of these changes where everybody seems to see the same thing, that automatically tells you, okay, you benefit of the doubt to back you, if you will. And there's residual everywhere. So there's some interesting points to it. But instead of everybody coming together like they should to say, okay, I got the one trigger for me, and that's all I need. I know something's happening. Instead of that, everybody wants to get on and debate what was this way, it was that way. It ain't no different than the hypocritical churches that are out there begging for your dollar bill now. It's ridiculous. What we need to do is come together as one community and say, hey, look, we know that reality is being altered in one form or another. And therefore, if we are claiming to be the children of God, then we should come together one with another, working together, praying one for another, lifting one another. We're directed in Scripture to even pray for our enemies and to pray for our leaders, pray for those who spitefully use us. We know in this community there are many that do just that. The fact is if you see the changes, regardless of your background, regardless of your religious beliefs, regardless of all of these things, what did John see when he was in the book of Revelation over there in the chapter 7? He said, I saw a number that no man could number of every kindred and tongue and nation. And the angel said, who are these? And he said to the angel, well, surely thou knowest. He says, yes, these are they who came out of great tribulation. The point being here, folks, is that we better quit nitpicking and picking at this and picking at that. And we better get our heads out of the sand as well as wherever else we might have them stuck. And I'm trying to be very kind about that, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
And we need to come together. If you see one thing and you remember it one way and I remember it another and we disagree on it, well, that doesn't mean either one of us is wrong in this state of the game. At this point in time, I remember the curly dash in Coca-Cola. Some people don't remember.
That is exactly the crux of what I'm talking about, because in what you're saying, I can easily see what your doctrinal standpoint was in the church that you obviously preached in. Okay, I can see what you're saying. But as you see that Teresa and Brian, you know, they're Catholic. They're not Baptist, and I would be up.
Some of my best friends are Catholic. What's your point?
Well, the point is that they have certain doctrines, just like you do, and your doctrines show through, just like you say about the tribulation, just like you say about I will pour my spirit out. You're pointing out Isaiah. When you say those things, I know what those verses are, and I know through my experience doctrinally how I take those verses. So when you're looking at them, I have a question for you. How do you separate? How do you separate your doctrinal view? Just a question. How, so everybody in the chat knows what I'm saying.
Here's what I say. Here's what I say to that. Scripture. If we're all trying to follow, as a so-called titled Christian, if we want to keep that title, Christian is to be Christ-like. That's really all that means. There's a lot of so-called Christians out here. As a matter of fact, there are certain dictionaries even right now that you can go and buy, and the title or definition for Christian, one of the definitions is to be civilized. So basically, if you know how to eat with a fork, brother, you're a Christian. Now, that's a sad thought, but that's the reality of the world we're in. They call good for evil and evil for good. And many of us have misconceptions or misunderstandings. Now, I'm not going by what just the word says or the Bible, because the word of God, according to that Bible in Revelation 19:13, his name is the word of God. Yeshua, Jesus, Emmanuel is the word, the living word. When he comes back, his name is the word of God. So these things given in 2 Timothy, the prescription that we see for scripture, it says all scripture is given by the inspiration of God. Okay, which leads me to a point, and I will answer your question, brother. Bear with me, because I know Brian don't want to keep this thing going too long.
Go ahead.
Fall asleep over there.
Go ahead.
Did you say you would fall asleep on me?
No.
I've done overrun my 15 minutes, I think. Ain't
No, you're bringing up 2 Timothy 3. Go ahead.
So here's my
by the inspiration of God. All scripture is given by the inspiration of God, and is profitable for
given for the inspiration, for reproof, and instruction. It doesn't say all scripture when is the word guaranteed. I'm gonna give you an example, okay? Why are you all in here? Why are you?
Photo, it says
Answer
in
that
list,
question.
all scripture is given by the inspiration of God for doctrine. It's the first thing it says.
And reproof.
Doctrine. But doctrine is the
doctrine.
first thing it says. But it's a
Yeah.
thing that you
That's
didn't say. Doctrine.
And what?
And doctrine is our rules of order.
Right.
Doctrine.
Well,
doctrine.
And what does Christ say? Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and thy mind and body and soul, right? Love him all and
Yeah.
love thy neighbor as thyself. And if you do
what is
those
the
Yeah.
greatest of these commandments? Right, but that's a pre-crucifixion
if
Jesus
you do,
talking.
hold on, it's in New Testament. He says,
Yeah, I
if
know
you
what
do,
it is.
if
I
you
know
do
what it
those,
is.
okay, well, let me answer your question,
Go
brother.
ahead.
If you
Go
do
ahead.
those two things, just like I love all y'all,
Yeah.
If you do
if
those
you
two
do
things.
those two things, all the other precepts fall in line.
No,
Yeah.
they don't.
Our point is to be pleasing to God. That's what Christ said.
You threw that in there, Photo. That's where I have to disagree. That's not true. All the other
That's what
precepts do
Christ
not
said.
fall.
Are you
It
telling me
did-
Christ didn't say that, brother?
I am telling you
Uh-uh.
that the Christ that listen, what you're talking about there, where Jesus said that, there isn't a Christian within 100 verses of him saying that. No Christian like you or me or anybody on this channel or anybody else on this earth. There's not a Christian around with 100 verses of Jesus Christ saying that. That's a pre-crucifixion Jesus. The only people that followed Jesus at that time were a bunch of Sabbath observing, pork abstaining Jews. There wasn't a Christian. There wasn't a Christian in the lot.
What is that? What does that?
So you're not-
What does that
you-
mean?
I don't understand.
That means that I could
Howard-
believe in Jesus. You can believe in Jesus Christ all you want. A historical
Right.
Jesus
Go ahead,
isn't going to save you from death. I can believe in Santa Claus too. You believe in Jesus Christ like you believe in Santa Claus. You have to believe on.
Let me stop.
something.
Let me stop
That's
you
the
a
point.
minute. Let me
You have to
stop you a
believe on
minute.
something.
Okay.
Oh, oh.
Let me stop you a minute.
Go ahead.
You asked my opinion,
I did.
and I know you disagree, but I'm going to tell you something.
I didn't disagree.
Emmanuel,
doctrine that you gave.
Okay, all I did was quote what was written in Scripture, brother. I
No,
haven't
you did
given
not.
any doctrines.
This is where I said I disagree. When you said, love thy neighbor, I'd love thy God, Lord thy God, I love thy heart, all thy soul, all thy mind, which you paraphrased, and then, all those other things will be added to you, all the precepts. And I said, no, that's not true. That's what I
Okay, so
said.
Jesus was a liar.
I didn't say Jesus was a liar. I said
But by your
that you
statement,
were
because all I'm
mistaken.
doing is quoting what he said.
You did not quote when you said all the other things will be added unto you, all the precepts.
No.
Chapter,
See, you're
verse,
taking. Listen, brother. I just took when you said you were a Christian. When you said you were a Christian, I just took
Yes.
for granted that you knew that Scripture.
I did.
So I paraphrased it. I can get it out and read it word for word. I thought we were just a bunch. You ask, how do we get past some of these things?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
one is not to nitpick each other to death.
I
The
did.
point being is that, do you love me, man? Do you love me?
The point that I was trying to bring up is what you tried to say about Jesus Christ and loving.
It's an honest
the love
question,
each other.
brother.
I
Sure.
was answering your question that you said, and I said no, that's not true. And I answered the question scripturally. You are going back to a pansy God is love type thing, and there's no Christian around. When Jesus Christ came around after he died on the cross, he didn't get up and say after he rose from the dead, said, "Okay, everybody love one another." He didn't say that.
Wait, hold on,
brother.
Wait. Check this out.
Hold on.
Let's look at this. Let me ask you a question, okay?
Go ahead. Yes.
Do you believe Jesus is the Word of God like he says he was?
I believe that Jesus Christ is the Word of God. Of course, he's the Word
Okay,
of God.
hold on.
But
Bear with me,
there's a
okay?
difference. I'm answering your question. Jesus Christ, the Word of God.
Ty, take a breath.
Ty, brother,
Yeah,
you gotta breathe, man. A conversation's two-way. You're getting angry with me, and I ain't having a room to talk.
Nobody got angry at all. I was answering your question, but you won't let me speak because you keep talking over me. The Word of God. You said that Jesus Christ is the Word of God, and I said yes. Capital W is Jesus Christ's name, is his title, just like he's a Lion of the tribe of Judah.
Okay.
However, the Word of God.
I'm trying to stay with yes or no questions, brother, so we can move forward, because Brian's going to cut us off.
Brian's not going to come out.
Okay. Okay, so listen to me, man.
I'm just trying to hear you.
The questions I ask, I'm doing like it's on the speakeasy. I'm just trying to get to know you, Ty.
That's all.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Now here's the thing. Okay. Do you believe, and it's yes or no, that Jesus or Yeshua or Emmanuel in the book of Revelation after the resurrected Christ, because you say you're Christian to be Christ-like, do you believe when it says that he's going to return with his vesture dipped and his name says the Word of God?
On
His
the
name
vesture, it
is
says the Word of God. It's capital W. The scripture is very plain when it says capital W Word, and small w is the word, is the scripture, the two different things.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing, brother. The scriptures are changing, but the Word of God, Yeshua, HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, Emmanuel,
every time that you say Yeshua and Yamashia, it's 6 to 1 and half a dozen in the other. It doesn't make any difference to me.
What do you call him?
Jesus. Jesus. There's only one name under heaven given under men that must be given among men that we must be saved, and that name is Christ Jesus, not Yeshua. It said Christ Jesus.
Actually, the angel said, "You shall call his name Emmanuel."
Yeah.
That was the book of Manuel. In the book of Matthew, where it says Emmanuel. In the book of Acts, it's Jesus Christ. Only
in
one
the book
name.
Of John, it was the Word.
Yeah, in the book of John, chapter 1, verse 1, it's the Word. In the beginning was the Word.
Can we just refer to him as the Word?
Christ in Acts chapter 4, verse 12.
Yeah,
and
brother,
then
I understand.
I'm not preaching. Yes.
Can I get a second? Let me get a second.
Arguing over.
Hold on, man.
I'm not arguing over it. I would like the photo to be plain.
Brian, let me get a second.
Go ahead.
See,
Go ahead.
This is our problem. If we keep debating over the small things, that's why people can't see. Because we debate on the capital I's and the little I's and the big I's and the little U's. And see, this is what I told somebody. This is what I told somebody once before, because they used to do the same thing. And I say, okay, if Jesus said, or whatever you call him, if he died on the Thursday and rose on the Saturday, what is the main point? That he died for your sin, that he rose again. It don't matter what day it was, if we confuse ourselves or what we call his name, as long as we know that he died for our sins and that he rose again, that's the main point. A lot of people get all tied up.
Let me chime in. Here's my point. Here's my point, okay? MS man, just a second. Ty asked me a legitimate question. I was trying to answer that legitimate question.
Yes.
I don't know where Ty stands. He admitted we disagreed on some things. I said that's
let
cool.
Me ask you, I'm going to ask you one question. I'll end all the questions. I have one question.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what, brother, you already asked me one, and I ain't had a chance to answer it yet.
Just hang on, man. Let him answer first, and then you. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm a Southern boy, so I talk long and slow. And I apologize that I'm not like answering as fast as you want me to. But if you want to know my answer to your question, how we get past this, then you're going to have to give a breath and let me do it. You've been on the panel talking for a while. I just got here. And I've been bombarded with questions. I want to try and answer appropriately.
Lots of good questions, mind you.
Great questions. But you got to let me, all I'm doing is quoting some scripture, old and new, and to give you a perspective of where I'm coming from. But you made a point that I believe in Jesus like Santa Claus, and neither of those statements are true. If it's not a true statement, you become a liar. And I'm not wanting to believe that you're a liar because I think you love me.
So let me ask you the follow-up question, and what must I do to be saved?
But I ain't answered the first question.
But that's okay. If you said that you don't believe in Jesus like Santa Claus, which I did not mean it in that way, I would ask you the follow-up question, which is the crux of the matter photo, which is, what must I do to be saved?
Brother,
I'm dying tonight. What must I do to be saved? Give me the answer.
Do you not know?
Are you a Christian? Are you going to tell me? Deny me? Tell me. What is it?
Ty.
You don't answer the question. It's a simple question. It'll shepherd.
You must be. What did Jesus tell Nicodemus he must do?
He must be born again.
That's right.
Okay, good. So
you agree with that, Ty?
Sure, I'd agree with that, but let me tell you, what do I have to believe in then? What must I do to be saved? You want to go to John 3? You want to go to John 3? Excuse me, Eman. You want to go?
You must renew your mind.
The question, Eman, was the photohelix. It's a simple question. If I'm dying right now, I'm taking my last breath. What must I do to be saved? Tell me the answer. And if you tell me you must be born again, that doesn't really answer the question, does it?
I don't know, Ty. You seem angry, brother.
I'm not angry, but I'm not.
But you seem angry.
I'm sorry that you're perceiving me to be that way. I'm simply asking you a question.
According to the chat. Okay. Okay.
What do I believe
That's
in?
about Ty. That's about the fourth question you've asked me, and you haven't answered the first one I asked you. You see what I mean? It's a two-way street in a communication, brother. You got to slow down, breathe a little bit. Scripture says even a fool appears wise when he keeps his mouth shut. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just repeating an old proverb.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you want my answer, you got to give me a breath moment to answer it.
Yeah,
every time I start to answer, you jump down my throat, brother. And my first question was, do you love me? Yes or no?
Yeah, I love you.
I love you.
Yeah.
I love everyone in here.
Me too.
I'm asking Ty. Do you love me, brother?
Man, love the sinner, yes. Of course I would. What does that tell when I'm talking about salvation?
You say, of course you would? Does that mean you don't, but you would if I say the right answers that you want to hear? I don't understand that.
Simply talking about being soul conscious and being aware of other people's state of people's souls, yes. But there's different types of love that you would say, as you brought up different definitions, a dictionary definition. I love my wife, I love my car, I love my dog, I love my house, I love my kids.
I use that all the time. Let's go with the word agape.
The word.
Okay, let's use a non-English word. Let's go back to the Greek. Let's go to agape. Let's go agape. That's not an English word.
That's what I just said.
Agape. That's not an English word. Let's use an English word.
My mic not working, y'all?
I don't think it's working.
It's working. I hear you.
I said agape. Do you feel agape for me, Ty?
And I said, let's use an English word.
Even the people in the chat room.
It's not an English word.
Agape's not English.
Love. Because you follow a type of religion that's not biblical based, I believe. I believe you follow a type of religion.
Whoa.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because you can't give me an answer about what do I need to do to be saved.
That's not true, Ty. You haven't allowed me to give you an answer, and you're only wanting answers and no questions. You're creating a disturbance and a distortion. You don't know me, obviously, and you won't answer my questions. Why should I answer yours? It's like fighting with a demon.
Yeah.
Brother, I'm not here for distortion or confusion. Lucifer is the author of confusion, regardless of what you believe.
You're not here to openly answer a question either. You can't hide behind your doctrine.
I have tried 4 times. Even the chat room is saying you're angry with me.
Okay.
What's going on, Tom?
What's wrong, Ty?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's something in the air right now.
You guys should know me well enough to see that I have a point. Or do none of you know me well enough?
I mean, look,
we don't know what the point is yet.
But I think what's going on right now is not a good thing. I mean, this is not proactive. This is more.
It's a question.
This is more gang up on Photo Helix and chew him out and never let him get a word out. That's what it is.
I'm letting you talk, Photo.
Every time I open my mouth, Ty, you jump down my throat, brother. That's the truth. Even the chat room's saying it.
Yeah.
Oh, so now that we have consensus to my question, you wouldn't answer me on your videos either,
brother. I haven't answered. Okay, I don't know. I've got 36-some thousand viewers. I do good to answer email when I can, brother. I don't read every comment.
I'm the only one talking with you, and I'm asking you the simple question, Photo Helix, and I'll stop talking.
You must be born again, brother. You know that. Why would you play that game? I'm sorry?
I'm asking you the question. When you say must be born again, how would I do that? What do I believe, Father Helix? More to the point, what do you believe to believe?
It's a renewing of your mind, man.
Ty, here's a question. Are you
It's a
truly
renewal-
a Christian? Yes or no?
It's a renewing of your mind. If you don't renew your mind,
That's Paul.
and
That's
not think,
Paul. Transformed by the renewing of your mind is from Paul. Paul's his letters. I remember that one.
Do you remember when I was talking to you earlier and I said, how do you tell the difference in doctrine and doctrine gets in the way of things? You said that's a great question, but you didn't really answer the question. And when I tried to follow it up, you thought,
You didn't let me, man.
no, you went into, you were talking, you tried to answer the question, and when I tried to follow it up to get to the point of what I was talking about, because you did follow it up with doctrine, with your own doctrine. When you hold on a second, guys. You asserted, Photo, hold on just 1 second, Photo.
But you never answered.
Photo, excuse me, Eman, excuse me, hold on.
Private conversation with y'all.
No. When Photo said something about, Photo said something about the tribulation period.
Brian, this is your room. You should take control of your guest.
I think it's a private conversation.
I don't want to be rude to anyone.
Because that's what that is. Because he just said a few minutes ago that he asked the question. He asked the question on the video. I think it's some friction somewhere, and so I don't think this is a time and place for that one.
Eman,
I think he's got an issue with Photo Helix.
Eman and Photo Helix. I asked you the same question as you.
I don't know what it is.
I have the question, and the question is
it's very hard to play the role of devil's advocate when you're trying to go against the group think. I get it, you know.
Well, groupthink can get you in trouble. I was just trying to answer the man's questions and be kind.
Yeah,
but if I get cut off at every end of every sentence, I'm not going to be able to answer nothing. That's foolishness, and it looks foolish in the sight of man.
I know. What were the questions again?
The first one was how do we get along when people are having different thoughts or views? And I said, that's great. I love to agree to disagree. That was my first sentence. And we started there, and I said, let me see if I can answer your question. And so I started to quote a few different scriptures, and then evidently that was considered doctrine by doing such. I was just quoting scriptures from the Bible as a premise to make my point of what I believe and how we could get through. But again, evidently I didn't say it accordingly and correctly enough to appease Ty, and so he had other questions.
You believe that we're in the tribulation period, that's why.
I'm sorry?
Do you believe that we're in the tribulation period right now, Photo Helix?
I do not.
Oh, you don't think
I believe we're at the birth. I believe we're all having tribulation, as it were, persecution, if you will. I don't believe the final countdown has began. I think we're in the birth pangs. That's just a personal thought. I don't know specifically because of the way times are now with this whole changing thing. We may be further along than I think. I do know that according to Ecclesiastes, if we follow that, just according to the prophecy, what it says that there's going to be a great war, the Gog and Magog war. And it says they will bury the dead for 7 months, and they will burn the weapons of war for the next 7 years. And when I think of weapons of war, I think of possible nuclear and those kinds of things that they might want to make energy and whatever. I don't know exactly what that refers
Ezekiel
to.
Too, right.
Ezekiel 38 and 39, right. And then it says down in 39 and 25 that they will go back, talking of Israel, they will go back into captivity for a short time. This is Jacob's trouble. Daniel's 3.5 year mark, if you will. But I don't think they'll be burning those weapons of war during the 1,000-year reign of Christ. When Christ comes, according to 2 Peter, everything going to be burned up. This is all going away, folks.
So do you believe that we're in the
problem.
Do you think we're in Daniel's 70th week then?
I know we're in Daniel.
Right on the,
I know we're in Daniel 7:25. We're in Daniel 7:25 right now.
Yes, yeah. We're seeing the change and alterations of times and laws.
Yeah.
For sure. I also believe this is the separating of the wheat from the tares. They grow up together while professing Christianity, godliness, and all these things, and yet the division is being made as we see.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
regardless of whether, listen, that's not to say every Christian or every person's belief is going to agree. You got to remember, God's ways are so much higher than our ways. Revelation says there are 7 spirits of God. So who are we to judge who is and who isn't? That's why John said there would be a number no man could number of every kindred and tongue and nation. The Spirit pouring out upon all flesh. And I think the people
does
who are
it say in Corinthians that we're supposed to judge each other, or don't we know we're going to even judge angels? So why can't we judge each other?
Yeah, righteous judgment. The problem is everybody don't take the point out of their own. They can't see for the beam
in the book of Corinthians. You're going to talk about righteous judgment. There's a righteous bunch. The people at Corinth, they were righteous.
I'm sorry.
The people at Corinth that came out of the book of Corinthians, they were not exactly a righteous bunch. They're talking about.
No, that's true.
You know? That's right. So obviously we can judge each other about what we believe. Now, can't we?
I think we judge by the fruits we bear, don't you?
Yeah.
I think
so. We could, but we could just as well answer a question and get a straight answer instead of asking.
And wait a minute. And God say, when you judge, if you're going to judge right.
That's right.
That's where Matthew chapter 7 came. That's where Matthew chapter 7
because every judgment, here's the thing, folks, every judgment we pass on man, before God will be passed upon us.
Yeah.
That's it.
We like to point out everything people do, but yet we're guilty of the same things in so many cases.
Right, we got the beam and all that.
We're big hypocrites, of course, but that's.
Yeah. Is everybody okay now? I'm just making sure. Is everybody okay?
Yeah, we were
everybody's
okay.
been okay.
All right,
I'm okay.
It's just a matter when you're on a radio program, it's hard, or a YouTube program, however you're doing this. It's hard sometimes in the communication because you got bleed over and delay, and so you get cut off sometimes. And that's sometimes what me and Ty do. Me and him both get excited when we talk, and we both got our point we want to make.
Here's the real problem that I see, Photo, is that when you get people that are of different faiths, and you come under the guise of Christianity, like if one's a Mormon and one's a Catholic and one's a Baptist or a Methodist, and you try to get them all together and say they're all Christian. Well, man, they don't believe the same thing. Just because
that's why we're warned about doctrines and the traditions of man.
Because you believe
we're told not to follow. You see what I mean? Let me ask you this:
making a statement. Just because you believe in the fundamentals doesn't mean that we believe in the same things. My gosh, even the Muslims believe in Jesus Christ.
This is true. But let me ask you a question, brother. When we get to the kingdom, if we make it, if we're blessed enough to make it to the kingdom.
Oh, you don't know if you'll make it or not? You know what I find out? I want to address that point right there.
Wow, man. You can't even make a point.
Go ahead and make your point. I know you talk. You're Southern.
Hi, every time I say something, brother, you cut me off. You never let me finish a thought pattern or a point, ever. And that's hard when you're talking to a Southern boy because we like to make points and analogies.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, but
it's like cutting into
15 seconds. You talk for 4 minutes. That's what I'm saying.
It's like every time a comedian goes to tell a joke and you cut in right before the punchline. You never hear the punchline. It's not funny at all.
Everybody, I hope y'all be all right. I love everybody.
I do too.
I love y'all too.
I love everybody too.
And I love y'all.
I love you. I love you guys.
You know what? I think sometimes, you know, I think God said we can like they said earlier. You know, you can be agreed to disagree. But don't go to sleep angry. Don't let your
no. And this is why I asked Ty at the beginning. I asked Ty if you love me. Now you can use any language you want, but agape stands the best in the Greek. And you couldn't give me a straight answer. You said you would, but you didn't say you do. That scares me, Ty. That right there puts me on a different level with you, brother. I love you to death. I really do. I care less what you think of me, but I do love you.
Yeah, that's the same. That's the same God is love thing that people talk about, which is again another false doctrine that people like to bring.
It doesn't matter what I say. You're going to call me false doctrine and false.
No. I didn't call you false doctrine. I said that's the
you
same
insinuated.
that's the same type of thing. That's a false type of doctrine. That's why I said when you get together a Baptist and a Mormon and a Catholic, and it seems that everybody wants to get together ecumenically, but we're going to get together. We're all going to love each other. Let's just drop doctrine. That's foolishness, because what I see is everybody wants me to drop doctrine, but everybody else can hold true to theirs, because the only thing they know about their own doctrine is God is love.
Check this
That's
out.
the only thing that's it.
Go ahead. Check this out. This is the whole thing. The Bible say, I don't care whatever Bible, but love covers a multitude of sins. If we just love one another, a lot of stuff won't happen. If the world just loves, you wouldn't have to worry about killing, stealing, talking about your brother, because love will cover that. You know, when you love somebody, you ain't gonna see them harm themselves. You ain't gonna kill or steal from them. And see, so love covers the multitude.
Yeah.
Right. I understand what you're saying, man. But we're talking specifically about doctrine, not about love.
I mean,
for fellow man. We're talking about doctrine.
If you take doctrine off, if you take the doctrine out of the equation and you just love, that right there will take care of a whole lot of stuff. You know,
except doctrine, because when I go there to the Mormon church, man, and I walk in, I knock on the door at Salt Lake City, and I say, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Tyler. I'm a Baptist. You're gonna let me in? You're gonna go get the hell out of here."
Yes, I am.
They'll throw us right out.
No, they won't.
Yes, they will.
No, they won't. I can tell you for a fact they won't.
Well, you understand that maybe I could sit there just like in a Catholic church, but I'm not going to be allowed to partake of a Catholic the Holy Communion. I would not be allowed to do that by Catholic doctrine.
You know what that is?
That's doctrine.
That's man's rules.
That's their doctrine. What are you talking about? That's their doctrine.
Doctrine. See, that's doctrine. That's people want to separate God and make him be their own little thing. That's not what
2 Peter 2. That's not what 2 Peter. Listen to me. 2 Timothy chapter 3 that Photo Helix just talked about said all scriptures given by inspiration of God for doctrine.
That's not in 2 Peter. That's in 2 Thessalonians, brother.
2 Timothy.
But wait a minute. But see, the thing is, what people don't understand, before the doctrine, before the scriptures that we love to quote, if you just do the basics, if you just love God and love your brother, we don't have to even worry about all of that. That's the problem. Everybody wants they little piece of it.
The problem is what you're saying, man. The problem is with what you're saying is that nowhere in the Bible does it say, "Hey, you know what? Let's all get together and love one another, and you can be saved from going to hell." Nowhere in the Bible does it say that, written by anyone at any time, anywhere in the Old Testament or the New Testament. Knows who's interrupting who.
Take a breath, man. Let me say something.
Who's interrupting who? You're interrupting me now.
Check this out. If you love the Lord your God with all your heart, as you say, the Creator, listen to me. If you love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your mind and all your body and all your soul, then you're going to do everything it is in your power to be pleasing to him and not mankind, not the doctrines and traditions of man. You're not going to be, I'm telling you, if you have the love of God in you,
how would you get the love of God in you if you're not saved? How would you get that? Just by following the rules.
If you have the love of God in you, you will follow his directions to get saved.
How would you get the love of God in you if you're just following the 10 Commandments? Because the 10 Commandments couldn't save a dead horse.
Wow, Ty, really? Are you really? Come on now, buddy. You got better intellect than that, please.
The 10 Commandments couldn't save a dead horse.
How can you love God without being in communication and with your Creator? How can you love God if you haven't followed through and accepted the gift of His Son?
How can you how in the world can you follow the 10 Commandments and expect to be saved? There's no one that's been saved by following the 10 Commandments since they were written.
That's what Jesus is trying to say.
God said in the Word, He said, if you believe that He rose him from the dead, and that he died for your sins, that you shall be saved. Because you see, but the problem with that after you believe in them things, you have to take the order that goes with that. It's just like if I want a car, I gotta take the responsibility of owning a car. I can't just own a car and let the car sit there because it won't go nowhere. If I put oil in that car and gas and never drive that car, that car don't get me nowhere. So it's order. And so everything has rules and regulation over it. Yes, you can love God and believe He died for your sins, but you have got to take the rest of the stuff with it. It's just like, here go a perfect example. I tell people this all the time. When God said that a man will rule over you and that you had to sweat to your brow, that was for everybody. Now, to get the benefit of the doubt, you gotta love God to know that you gotta love your woman as God so loved the church and gave His life for it. But that don't exclude the first rule when it said that a man will sweat and a woman will have pain during childbirth. You ain't gotta believe in nothing. That's gonna happen naturally. You don't gotta believe in God. You gotta believe
Can I have a question?
But
Can
that's
I chime in, y'all? I'm not. Hey, can I chime in just a minute? Because I'm not going to be here much longer.
It's okay. Good.
The only reason, I was just in the chat room to say hi. Brian had asked me if I would come in. And Ty,
questions answered.
At the beginning, you said, how can we bring people together, okay? One way is not to be combative. You said you disagree with me. I said I love to agree to disagree. But how do you know what all you disagree with if you don't allow me to speak it? You got to do that. You got to give the other voice just so you can hear. Now, everything that's come out of my mouth, regardless if it's been scripture, paraphrased, or quoted exact, neither or, doesn't matter. Point is I've not finished a paragraph or a sentence or made a point, because every time I go to ask a question or verse it in that way, as the Tennessee folks do, you cut me off with a new question and therefore creating even more distortion and more combativeness. I'm not trying to get on your case. Matter of fact, you still can't tell me you love me. And that's a sad thing, brother. And I'm sorry for that. I do love you, regardless of what language you want to use it in. And regardless of what you think about me, regardless of what you believe, and regardless of what you want to say about everything I say. I know.
I love you.
Photo? Are you finished?
Yeah, I love you too.
I'd like to say something without cutting you off.
Yeah.
Great. What people do in these situations when they hold a particular doctrine, such as you do, Photo, is when I try.
What is my doctrine? I don't know what
I tried to ask you, you wouldn't answer it because you try to answer a question with a question. That's called loaded questions. Okay,
No.
Loaded questions.
That's not true, Ty. That's not true, Ty. Go back and listen to it. You cut me off before I could answer. That's not true. You're making untrue statements, brother. I know you're playing devil's advocate, but that's okay.
What I'd like to do, Photo, if you want to continue, I'll gladly have written correspondence with you. You'll find out just what I believe compared to what you believe. And you'll have the same rhetoric and the same answers. What people in your situation that I found like to do is they'd like to take the higher moral ground, which is exactly what you did. That's exactly what you did.
Higher moral ground? Yeah, that's what you should do. I think that would be good for you, too.
That's what you did. By saying that you can't say that you love me, which doesn't make the bit of difference. The price of tea in China during Christmas time doesn't mean anything. I was asking you a simple doctrinal question.
You know what it tells me, Ty?
Go ahead. You're going to cut me off again. Go ahead.
I'm on YouTube on a live show real quick.
Yeah.
Wait, where you going?
We may have to set up a conversation for another time like this.
Yeah.
But
I think so.
With more open ears and open hearts.
Yeah.
I love you regardless, and I didn't spread or change or talk about any doctrine. So that's your opinion. That's okay, Ty. Bless your heart. Do what?
I thought that's too far, man. Oh shit.
Somebody's bleed over. Hey, Brian, I'm sorry I couldn't get on here and answer anything for you. I was trying.
I'm sorry. We'll have to try another time.
Yes, he is.
Say again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking to somebody. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
so we'll call it a
All
night,
right.
and everyone have a great Mandela Effect night. And God bless. Okay.
All right. God bless.
I love you, Photo and Brian. I'm sorry.
Love you, Photo.
okay.
I love you. All right.
I love all y'all.
I
All
love
right,
you,
brother.
Photo, and I love you, Ty.
Yeah, I love you too, Ty.
Yeah. All right. I love you. I love Ty too. I love
Bye,
you
guys.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for coming on, Photo.
Thank you, Photo.
Yeah. Thank you, Photo.
Thanks for asking me to drop in. I love you
Yeah.
guys. Ty,
All right.
keep me in your prayers, buddy, and I'll keep you in mind too. Okay, buddy?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh.
All right.